business, psychology, and mechanical engineering. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
It is 55 degrees right now in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says see partly cloudy skies today. The high getting into the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees. We're in for a big cool-off, though, to close out the week. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Well, it's been months, but we're watching the legal fight as it picks back up today over possible big changes to elections here in Georgia.
4 months after the Georgia Supreme Court declined to rule against controversial new election rules, it's time for justices to hear arguments about the meat of them. A lower court ruling had said last-minute changes pushed by the GOP-led state election board just days before November's presidential election were illegal, unconstitutional, and void. The High Court said that appeal would proceed on a normal schedule, and that date is here. There are 2 cases, but they'll be argued as one, and this will determine whether those rules will take effect before the next election cycle. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
A day after speaking with Russian President Putin by phone, President Trump expected to have a discussion today with Ukrainian President Zelensky on a way to end the war in Ukraine. Putin promised to stop targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure with airstrikes, but former U.S. Ambassador to Kyiv, William Taylor, notes
it doesn't apply to the ground forces. This is where the killing it continues to go, and this is what President Trump has said he wants to stop. So they've not been able to get President Putin to agree to that, and that's going to be the key.
He says it doesn't appear President Trump got exactly what he wanted from Tuesday's conversation. Russia continued to hit targets in Ukraine overnight, even after the phone call, while Ukraine reportedly targeted oil tanks inside Russia. Starting in about an hour, Fulton County Commission is set to consider a new measure prioritizing the hiring of recently laid-off federal workers. It's expected to vote on Operation Public Servant, which looks to fill about 800 vacancies. Applicants must be county residents. Jobs are in several fields, including tech, legal services, and engineering. It's believed about 2,000 federal workers have been laid off in Fulton County alone in recent weeks. Meanwhile, as the U.S. Postal Service faces its own financial issues, the debate continues on a plan that would privatize it.
Postmaster General Louis DeJoy worked out a deal with the Trump administration to stabilize the agency by cutting about 10,000 jobs. But critics say the layoffs could be a step toward dismantling the service or taking it private.
Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti says President Trump has also floated the idea of making the Postal Service part of the Commerce Department. Watching the Federal Reserve today as it wraps its 2-day policy meeting, business analyst Jill Schlesinger predicts it won't be swayed by the recent downswing in the market and won't change its current benchmark interest rates.
So no changes on your credit card interest, no changes on those savings account interest rates, everything as is.
She says it appears the Fed is waiting to see how the newly enacted tariffs on U.S. trade partners will affect the economy and also affect inflation. And a Chinese rival to Tesla brags it's made a major technology breakthrough.
China's biggest electric vehicle maker, BYD, has unveiled a new fast charging system that it claims can charge an e-car's battery within 5 to 8 minutes. If true, that's more than twice as fast as Tesla's superchargers.
Correspondent Vicky Barker says BYD is expected to roll out 2 new models that it claims can travel about 250 miles on just a 5-minute charge. It's 9:03. Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. But first, live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start with Triple Team Traffic. Here's Smiling Mark McKay.
Judge, pretty thick on the downtown connector, headed north, leaving Langford Parkway up to John Lewis Freedom Parkway. The I-20 east westbound pressure through East Atlanta is in place. Flat Shoals, Gresham trying to hit the downtown connector. And outside the perimeter, I-20 is still struggling through the work zone, leaving Evans Mill Road to I-285, getting a bit of relief into the sunshine as you roll out of Lithia Springs. Still a bit slow. I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road, exit 44. Watch the ride out of the northern suburbs. Ashley Frasca.
Still slowest getting out of Gwinnett County on 85 south. The worst of it between 316 and Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Georgia 400 south. You still have some volume between Haynesbridge and Holcomb Bridge. And 75 northbound past Wade Green. Crews are working. A truck went off the road. Right lane blocked, but thankfully no big delays traveling out of Kennesaw. Triple Team Traffic, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, warm today. High near 80. That south wind pulling in that warm air, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. But a cold front arrives after midnight, bringing rain showers for tomorrow morning. Temperatures will drop into the upper 40s, low 50s through tomorrow afternoon, continuing to fall into the low 30s by Friday morning.
It is 47 degrees in Vinings, 49 in Stone Mountain, 55 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
This is one of those days where I need about 10 hours to talk about everything we have to talk about. Welcome, friends. Mark Arum and crew, unfortunately, only with you till noon. 3-hour show. A lot of information today. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to talk to a JFK author and expert, Gerald Posner, on what exactly was released with those secretive government files yesterday concerning the assassination attempt of JFK. Huge phone call yesterday between President Trump and President Putin. We'll go in depth on what was said and what was not said during that phone call. And maybe the headline of the show, Deborah Green has booked us Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice is going to join us live at 10:50 here on the Mark Arum Show. I want to start off with, though, some phenomenal news from yesterday evening.
Freedom, splashdown. Good main release.
Copy, splashdown. We see main
Splashdown.
Nick,
Butch and Sonny are home.
SpaceX.
Finally.
Welcome home.
Welcome home indeed. Joining us live from the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, our longtime friend from CBS News, Mark Strassman. Mark, good morning, brother. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Everything good?
I feel so good for Butch and Sonny. Obviously, you know, their 8-day trip turned into a 9-month sojourn, and then I was nervous about them heading back home, but everything appears to have went well yesterday.
It was picture perfect. I mean, honestly, NASA could not have scripted a better splashdown than the one they got. So Butch and Sonny are now back in Houston. They got here just before midnight last night, and they're spending a couple of days and nights at Johnson Space Center in the crew quarters. Doctors just want to make sure that they're doing okay, adjusting well to gravity, and then they should be sleeping in their own beds at home with their families, finally, by this weekend.
Let's start with their long descent, Mark. It was 17 hours from when they detached from the ISS to splashdown. Why is it such a long journey home?
It's orbital mechanics, which is a phrase I like to say because it makes me sound smarter than I really am. But essentially, the capsule orbits the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour, and meanwhile below it the Earth is rotating, and so they're trying to reach that point of alignment where there's the greatest possible chance for a pinpoint splashdown, and that's what happened yesterday. These flights to and from the space station vary in duration depending on those orbital mechanics. But the bottom line is that NASA has and SpaceX have this down now. I mean, really to the second. And that's just what happened yesterday.
Mark Strassman joining us live in Houston, Texas, here on the Mark Arum Show. So long in space, in that weightless environment, near zero gravity. What's the procedures like for Butch and Sonny? What's the protocol? What's their rehab, for lack of a better word, going to be like now that they're back on Earth?
Well, some of it is just there is rehab. You're right, but some of it is just adjusting. I mean, they've spent months in microgravity, and the body just goes through changes. And there's a lots of bone density, which is why most people don't know this, but astronauts will work out a couple of hours a day on the space station just to maintain their conditioning, but also to help with their bone density. And so they have to come back to Earth now and just adjust to life out of 0G and life in 1G. And gravity is something we all take for granted until you don't have it. And remember, these two have been without it for 9 months now. And so I talked to an astronaut yesterday, Mark, and he told me he spent 6 months in the space station. He told me it took him a week to feel 80% and 6 weeks to feel 100% again. So there's a little bit of a rehab process ahead for Butch and Sonny.
Wow. I had someone reach out to me on social media wanting to know what the overtime pay is going to be for Butch and Sonny, right? They were scheduled for a short term. Do we know if NASA is going to compensate them for that elongated journey in the sky?
These are government employees. There's no overtime involved here. You have to remember too that for all the talk of headlines that they were stranded in space or stuck in space or abandoned in space, they denied that all along. And to them, space is their sweet spot, right? This is what they live for, and the chance to spend extra time in space was great. Of course, they miss their families. But Butch and Sonny said repeatedly, and said to us, in fact, that to be in space was a privilege, and they didn't take that privilege for granted because they didn't know when they would ever have that chance to go back again.
Well, that's my next question, Mark. Will they ever go back again? What's the astronaut career future for Butch and Sonny after this?
It's a really good question. Of course, there's a number of active duty astronauts, all of whom are clamoring for the chance to go up to space. You have to remember something about Butch and Sonny. They come back 9 months later as the most famous astronauts in NASA's program, and they certainly acquitted themselves well up there. Their resilience was what struck a lot of people who followed their story, even people who only have a passing interest in space. Just understood that these are a couple of people who went on an 8-day business trip that ended up stretching to more than 9 months.
Yeah.
And so, does NASA owe them something like a return trip back? Well, I guess we're going to find out.
They should get something. I mean, something, Mark. But you're right. For them, that was 9 months of privilege, of unexpected joy to get to spend those extra months in space. So, but I think that NASA should hook them up. But so happy they were returned back to Earth safely. Safe splashdown yesterday, and now they're reunited with their friends and family. Really good, heartwarming story. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Johnson Space Center in Houston. Mark, always good to talk to you, my friend.
You too.
Cut him a check, even under the table. Like, here's $1 million. You guys were phenomenal. They should get recompensed somehow. All right, great stuff there from Mark Strassman. When we come back, there were so many big stories we were covering yesterday, including the long-awaited release of the JFK files. What did those files read? Any bombshells? JFK expert Gerald Posner joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Morning rush hour, the evening rush hour, and everything in between.
Slow spots are starting to build up the east side perimeter on 285 North.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic
We've
Center.
had several breakdowns, including one in the express lane.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
When your termite bond renewal comes in the mail, do you cringe wondering, how much more are they going to charge me now? Switch to Breda Pest Management and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. If your termite service doesn't inspect inside, how do you know you're protected? With Breda, you get total peace of mind that your home is termite-free inside and out, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 full years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Home improvement projects can be a stressful guessing game. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus, the highest level of communication. The Plus means siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, owner of Painting Plus and the Plus family of businesses. We'll make you comfortable and keep you informed with every step of your project.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus, siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Mom and Dad seem different after a European-style holiday on MSC Cruises.
Call us Cloud and Yvette.
The ship had restaurants, shops, and nightlife.
La Galleria.
And of course, American touches, like an aqua park and a sweets shop.
American je ne sais quoi.
Mom, you're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, Kevin.
Book now and save up to 35% off, plus kids sail free. MSC Cruises. Let's holiday. To book, visit msccruises.com or contact your travel advisor. Restrictions apply. Ships registered in Panama and Malta.
See this garage door? I gotta be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
9:17 on the Mark Arum Show. Got some trouble on I-20 west side of town. Live with the latest, Mike Shields.
Right with the sun in your eyes too, Mark. This is I-20 eastbound right at Thornton Road, right at the bridge, exit 44. At least one lane is blocked, maybe more than that, and delays really starting to stack up quickly as you leave Lee Road, so we're going to keep our eye on that. Still watching a crash in Ackworth, getting into Ackworth, 75 northbound before Highway 92. Tractor trailer went off the road. One right lane is blocked. This report is brought to you by Whataburger. Drop in from 6 to 11 a.m. daily for $5 breakfast. What a deal. For a limited time, get either a honey butter chicken biscuit or a taquito with any drink for just $5 only at Whataburger. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
All right, first off, he pronounced it Waterburger, right, Longoria? It's Whataburger.
Oh, it's Whataburger. That's how
Waterburger?
That's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
All right, second of all, how cruel is it that Longoria gives up Whataburger for Lent?
Yeah, and then they start doing ads on traffic.
And they start spying. That's like salt in the wound.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me play some audio here.
If it happens, then of course we are optimistic. But at this stage, if it all relies on the answer of Putin, we are very skeptical.
That is Lisa Yasko, Ukrainian member of parliament, reacting to the big phone call that went down yesterday between President Trump and President Vladimir Putin. Joining us this morning, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, the call that was not heard around the world because we don't know exactly what was said, but what do we know this morning about that big call between the two heads of state?
Well, look, President Trump is trying to say that things were positive, but let's be realistic. He didn't really get big concessions from Vladimir Putin. I don't think anyone was really expecting them, but some optimistic tones in that President Putin has agreed that he'll consider sparing Ukrainian energy infrastructure in any future attacks for a 30-day period. You know, even as this conversation was happening, though Russia and Ukraine were still volleying attacks on one another, they're going to have some more talks this weekend. President Zelensky will be talking to President Trump today to try to figure out how that meeting went as well. So there is at least a dialogue, which is not something you could say was happening during the prior administration.
So right now, this morning here in Atlanta, or this afternoon in Kyiv, there is a ceasefire? Not yet. This is just the talks building to one, perhaps.
Correct. We are, and again, this is just for a 30-day ceasefire. We're not even talking a broader, lasting peace plan. Russia and Putin have really been having a lot of asks, a lot of demands on their list, which may be more appropriate to talk about for a permanent ceasefire when we're talking about what borders may be where, what assets may be taken over by other countries, that kind of a thing. But we did hear from President Zelensky earlier this morning, who said, look, he's not really going to sign off on anything until they get a seat at the table. I think President Zelensky is feeling like he's at the kids' table at Thanksgiving dinner while the grown-ups are at the big table. And he's, as we saw it unfold in the Oval Office, President Zelensky has been frustrated by the fact that everyone seems to be talking above them.
Roy O'Neill joining us here on the Mark Arum Show, updating that very important call yesterday between President Trump, President Putin. Big picture, is this at least, I know there are, Zelensky's not extremely happy with this, but maybe a step in the right direction. At least there are now talks involving all sides, not all at the same time. But is this a positive development, do you think?
Yeah, look, it's not negative, right? We haven't seen any results of these calls, though, yet on the battlefield. As I said, some pretty aggressive moves made by both countries yesterday in the military struggle. But the dialogue is beginning, and it's still the opening rounds. I think that the process is turning out to be a bit more complicated than President Trump had described it in the campaign days. But there is at least some openness that's starting to be revealed here, and many would say that's a step toward progress. What you don't want is for Putin to somehow get the upper hand in this or outfox somebody in these negotiations. Ukraine is reluctant to give up any territory. What you don't want to see is this as a win for Russia, because what stops further aggression? President Zelensky has said over and over again that his concern is that Putin will sign anything, but then Ukraine is going to need actual help from NATO and the U.S. to defend itself, because Zelensky says that Putin will break any deal that he signed.
But one more question for you, Roy, just for clarification purposes. Again, in this proposed 30-day ceasefire, Russia and Ukraine would not attack each other's. You mentioned a couple of things, but I would imagine that other things would still be on the table?
Well, specifically energy and infrastructure.
Okay.
So Russia, and they're trying to make this to be a joint agreement. Look, brass tacks, we're really talking about that Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
Mm-hmm.
It is the largest nuclear plant in all of Europe. Exactly where any new borders are drawn, what side of the border is that power plant on? That may be a big part of the negotiations when we are talking about that lasting peace deal. They have spared that power plant from time to time from attacks. But look, the reality is Putin is only promising to not attack infrastructure that he may win when this peace deal is finally brokered.
Yeah, good point. Rory O'Neill, as always, appreciate your time, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Mark.
So obviously, it depends who you're hearing from. What the Trump administration said post-phone call was different from what the Kremlin said post-phone call. William Taylor is the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine.
This is less than what both President Trump and President Zelensky had agreed and what President Trump sought from President Putin. So President Putin resisted the pressure or the request or the conversation about a real ceasefire.
And we heard from Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky after he was briefed on what went down on that Trump-Putin call through a translator.
For us, the red line is the recognition of Ukrainian occupied territories as Russian territories. We will not agree to that.
Goodness gracious, that's verbatim what I said yesterday. Verbatim what I said yesterday. If there's a red line, I said Putin's red line is no Ukraine joining NATO, right? That's his red line. And then I said the Ukrainian red line is not giving up any Ukrainian territory to Russian. Miss Translator, can you say that again?
For us, the red line is the recognition of Ukrainian occupied territories as Russian territories. We will not agree to that.
It's good to know that Zelensky listens to the show. I mean, literally, word for word, what I said yesterday before that phone call went down. All right, so we had a little shuffle. A little truffle shuffle. We're going to get the JFK expert on at 9:35. He had a call with Elon Musk. Elon wanted to pick his brain about the JFK file. That's how big of an expert this guy is on the JFK file. So he's on with Elon now, but he's going to join us after the news at 9:35. I have no problem. Elon, big conspiracy guy, he wants to know what's going on. So we'll let Mr. Posner talk to Elon, and then we'll get him live at 9:35. This is... First of all, let me preface this. we broke our streak of not talking about eggs yesterday. We had talked about eggs in like 42 straight Mark Arum shows.
Right.
I hate that, but we're going to start a new streak now. Even though I have single-handedly gotten things back on track with my suggestion of everyone buying powdered eggs, and now egg prices are dropping significantly, they are still a source of contention, a source of profit, perhaps. What exactly is this story, Deborah Green?
Although the price of eggs is starting to come down, egg smuggling, that's a thing now. Egg prices are still kind of low in Canada and Mexico, so more people are trying to bring them across the border. In fact, egg interceptions are up about 36% nationwide, according to Customs and Border Protection. San Diego alone had the biggest spike with an increase of 158%. And Border wants you to know that you have to declare all agricultural products when you're crossing over, and failure to do so could lead up to a fine of about 10 grand.
Wow. All right. I am not a professional criminal smuggler, mule, I think is the proper. But if you're going to smuggle something, is there anything worse to smuggle than an egg? Is there anything more fragile that could break when you're trying, if you're smuggling diamonds, right? You throw a handful of diamonds in your
underwear,
in your jockey shorts.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about breakage. It's an egg is one of the most fragile things that we touch every day. I'm so nervous when I take the groceries in from Maya's car to the house. Like I was like, you handle the eggs. Like it's too much pressure, right? Yeah, I was like, you handle the eggs, Maya. I don't want. They're too fragile. If you're gonna, I understand there's an egg shortage, but is that the most difficult thing to try to smuggle? And the messiest, if things go wrong, all of a sudden you got yolk running down your leg. Anyway, powdered eggs save the day. My suggestion of buying powdered eggs on buckets of them on Amazon single-handedly saved the egg shortage here in the United States of America. That'll be on the first line of my obituary. Back in 2025, Arum saved America with his powdered egg recommendation. All right, Judd is not a fan of powdered eggs, but he loves to give you news, weather, and traffic. He's coming up in 2 minutes. When we come back, he just finished his call with Elon Musk. JFK author and expert Gerald Posner joins us live next on the Mark Arum. So social media active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Okay, so you're working in the yard and you need some more pavers. Your current vehicle's too small. You know it wouldn't have to be like this if you had a Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota. Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show here for Beaver Toyota. With your lifestyle, a Toyota Tundra is the perfect vehicle for you. It has plenty of room to load up supplies for those weekend projects. Plus, it comes with the Beaver benefits, including lifetime powertrain warranty, oil changes, car washes, premium roadside assistance, and more. See them on the web at beavertoyotacoming.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Arum here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
Last night, I spoke to President Zelensky. I asked him if he'd match the Russian proposal. He said he would in principle, but we'd have to see the details. I also asked him what he made of the Trump-Putin relationship, who he felt was calling the shots. He was very careful not to criticize Donald Trump. He knows he needs to keep the White House on side.
Some technical difficulties, but it is 9:30. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, and our top story, we are awaiting today's expected conversation between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky as they discuss a possible deal to end the war with Russia. That was correspondent James Longman saying it comes after Tuesday's phone call between Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, who agreed to stop hitting energy infrastructure targets in Ukraine. Even after that call, though, between Trump and Putin, both Ukraine and Russia exchange overnight airstrikes, awaiting that conversation today between Trump and Zelensky. It is 55 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says the high will get up near 80 degrees today with a mix of clouds and sun, but we are in for a cool-off to close out the work week. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Big numbers this morning from UGA, which sets a new record for applications. Almost 48,000 students apply to be a part of the class of 2029, but fewer than 16,000 are accepted for the fall semester. The middle 50% of admitted students have ACT scores between 30 and 34 and SAT scores between 1,300 and 1,470. 80% are in-state students, and it seems some were actually born to be Bulldogs. UGA says 24 of their incoming freshmen are actually named Georgia. Speaking of our state, Georgia joins much of the country in facing critical shortages of construction workers that could impact the economy.
Many employers in the industry are struggling to find laborers to keep up with the demand. Brian Turmill with the Associated General Contractors of America says changing political winds are certainly a factor.
One of the things that's happened lately that's made workforce shortages even more acute is obviously the fact that we've got sort of a changing approach to immigration in this country.
He is advocating for a dedicated visa program to bring in people who can work, pay taxes, and be here legally. He says we also need a renewed focus on encouraging people to pursue technical and trade programs. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Another case of a passenger behaving badly on a flight out of Atlanta. The FAA says the crew for Delta Flight 501 from Hartsfield-Jackson to Los Angeles reported a passenger biting one person and hitting several others earlier this week. The plane landed safely in L.A. Paramedics examined that bitten passenger. An ambulance took the suspect to a hospital for a mental evaluation. And a free speech advocacy group argues before the U.S. Supreme Court that a Georgia tax on strip clubs violates the First Amendment.
The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression weighed in on the tax, saying content-based laws are forbidden under the Constitution. The group filed a friend of the court brief and was joined by the First Amendment Lawyers Association. Last month, the Georgia Association of Club Executives asked the Supreme Court to review a state high court ruling that said the tax was content neutral because it's aimed at addressing the negative effects of strip clubs, not the actual dancing. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
It's 9:33 as we check your money. All major indices this morning open up for the day. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. We start the WSB 24-hour traffic center and Mike Shields.
And John, it's that time of the morning where we see roadwork set up, and that's what we have now in Gwinnett County as you make your way into Suwannee on I-85 northbound, getting past Sugarloaf Parkway, exit 108. Right now, multiple left lanes are blocked, but it looks like they're just setting up cones in the HOT lane, so that will impact you as you leave Highway 316. Roadwork also in northeast Atlanta, 400 southbound, ramping onto I-85 southbound. Left lane of the ramp blocked, already slow as you leave Lennox Road, Piedmont, or Lennox. Great alternates to work your way to the Beef Spring Connector as an alternate. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Warm and breezy today, partly cloudy, high near 80, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. A cold front will bring morning rain showers for Thursday, then chilly temperatures in the afternoon, highs in the upper 40s, low 50s, waking up Friday morning with temperatures near freezing.
52 degrees right now in Smyrna, 53 in Lilburn, 55 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10, breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Everyone has an opinion.
We have become an idiotic nation that doesn't know how to even debate anything, so it doesn't surprise
Eric
me.
Von Hessler has an opinion.
You will still age.
And some advice.
Start doing things when you're younger. Drink a lot of water.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
And you will still die.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
So now a single bullet remains.
A single bullet now has to account for the remaining 7 wounds in Kennedy and Conley.
Back and to the left.
But rather than
Back and to the left. That's what kept going through my mind yesterday as we awaited the JFK files to be released. They're out. What did they say? Gerald Posner joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
Window shopping can be shocking. Typical replacement windows are big, bulky vinyl windows that lose their efficiency over time. Not what you want for your home.
That's why at North Georgia Replacement Windows, we don't offer those. We only carry the best. Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows.
Experience the Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass difference at your home or in our new Alpharetta showroom.
Visit us at ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
Baseball season is just around the corner, which means fantasy baseball prep season is here. Hey, it's Mark Arum. I'm not going to tell you how many leagues I'm in, but I'm a fantasy baseball nerd. I'm going to host a draft at my house, which means 12 unshaven, unkept fellas at my place, all hooked up to my Wi-Fi. I'm worried about their hygiene. I'm not worried about my Wi-Fi, though, because Xfinity's Wi-Fi is unsurpassed. I'm going to have 12 dudes, their tablets, their smartphones, their laptops, all hooked up to my in-home Wi-Fi, and they're not going to experience any lag. Maybe I should get worse Wi-Fi so they make worse picks. I digress. Xfinity Internet is the best in the biz. It can handle any amount of up to 100 devices at once. Up to 100 at once. You got to check it out. All the amazing things you can get through Xfinity, including their amazing internet. Very simple, friends. Just go to Xfinity.com. That's Xfinity.com. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit your local Xfinity store today for the best internet around.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Thanks. Got my seat cushion, crossword puzzle, and can't forget the hand sanitizer. Okay, show me the waiting room.
No need for all that. You can stay in your car.
I'll stay in my car? Get out.
Yep, you stay in. It'll just be 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Get out.
Go ahead, sit back and relax.
Well, I guess I'll save all this for the DMV. If only they took 10 minutes, am I right? I'm sorry.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
This is Scott Slade. If you think you've had storm damage, get in touch with My Roofer, FGA Roofing. They can respond within 24 hours to assess roof damage and assist in giving you what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
9:37 on this very busy Newsday Wednesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. 1 hour from now, Kim Commando joins us live to talk tech. Vanilla Ice, the one and only, at 10:50. Mike McKee from Bloomberg News at 11:05, awaiting the Fed's decision on interest rates. But joining us live now, author, JFK expert, might I say, Gerald Posner. Mr. Posner, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Mark, great to be with you. I know that you were thinking, back left, and, as you were looking at that, that's the power of Oliver Stone's great movie. And I mean great as in powerful, not necessarily historically accurate, but that's what I think a lot of people think about when they think about the JFK assassination.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I was taught about the Kennedy presidency and the assassination in school, but it wasn't until that 1991 Oliver Stone film where I was like, oh, maybe there's more to this. Obviously, movie critics loved the movie, but historians said, no. But the end of the movie that said that these files will be held secret until, I forget, it was like 2050 or something. But we got the early release yesterday, the unredacted files on the JFK assassination. Any big headlines from those unredacted files?
Not yet, but that's not to say there won't be. And the reason I say that is I've been reading them all night, so it's not like I just took a break and didn't take a look at them. But it's almost a master class in how not to do a files release. They just do a document dump, and thousands of these pages have been released before, but with some of it blocked out, a word or two or whatever else. You don't know what's been unredacted unless you go back to an early release a year or two later, pull up the document, and then compare them one by one. It's just an insane way of doing it. So it takes a long time to go through. This time it looks like they have opened up everything, including even Social Security numbers of people who are still alive, which I'm sure they will not be very happy with. Identity thieves are probably pouring through that now.
That's interesting. All right, so let's start with why these files were supposedly going to be held secret until 2050. What was the root cause of that decision back after the Warren Commission?
So a small part of it was for the Kennedy family, because Jackie Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, then alive, didn't want things out like the autopsy report, things that were gruesome that they thought could be part of a national, sort of display at some museum that they didn't care for. She actually asked for files to be withheld with an interview that she had with the historian William Manchester. Those have been held until just now. They're out. But most of the reason was the typical thing that happens with the security apparatus and the bureaucracy. Look, I've done 13 books. I'm an investigative reporter. I've dealt with the CIA, NSA, State Department, FBI on trying to get documents out, and they are the worst when it comes to it. They fight you tooth and nail over the silliest things, and this is a perfect example of files that should have been released decades ago, because the things that they have held back that we're looking at are the names of assets that used to help the CIA decades ago, or stations that they didn't want identified, or means of operating and gathering intelligence. Come on. Our enemies have known about the way we operated in the 60s and 70s and 80s far longer than this. There was no reason that these files shouldn't have been released a long time ago.
Gerald Posner joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. I know you're still going through the 80,000 pages that were released yesterday, but do you think at the end of it that it's going to fall on the shoulders of Lee Harvey Oswald? He was the lone gunman, if you will?
I tend to think there won't be anything in these files that's going to be a smoking gun to change that conclusion. But that doesn't mean that, for instance, RFK Jr. Believes that his father was killed and his uncle, President Kennedy, was killed probably as a CIA plot. If these files don't show that, he's not suddenly going to change his mind, nor will many other Americans who believe that. They'll just say, well, either the smoking gun documents were destroyed along the way, or they're somewhere else in the government. So I think that these files may not change the understanding for the case for a lot of people like myself who think that notwithstanding all the people that hated Jack Kennedy, Oswald sort of beat all the other conspirators to get there and kill Kennedy first. But I think that it's not going to change the mind also for a lot of people who think there's something much more nefarious there.
We've had, these hypotheses over the years. It was the mob. It was Cuba. Anything in these files yet regarding the mafiosa or possibly a Cuban plot?
So interesting that there's very little new about the mafia, and that seems to, even as a theory, sort of have receded out. The focus now in the spotlight seems to be more on the intelligence community, the CIA, and also on the Cubans, because Oswald, just 6 weeks before Kennedy was killed, went to Mexico City and tried to get a visa to travel to Havana. He wanted to join Castro in the revolution, and the Cuban mission and embassy turned him down. So there's always been some speculation about whether Oswald was encouraged by the Cuban intelligence officers 6 weeks beforehand. Do something. Show us that you're a member of the revolution. Do something to earn your place in Havana, and that the Kennedy assassination became that. So we're looking for that as well in here.
Now, there's also been thoughts that he was a CIA asset. Anything so far that indicates that Lee Harvey was working for the CIA or was an asset of the CIA?
Right. So not that he was an asset of the CIA, but that the CIA was watching him, as was the FBI. They had a full file open on him. The CIA had what's called a 201 file, and we have some of those records in here, which is sort of when they open a file on somebody and they accumulate information. Remember, he had defected, Oswald had, in 1959, 4 years before he kills Kennedy, to the Soviet Union in the heart of the Cold War when the Russians were our sworn enemies. So anybody that had gone to the Soviet Union and then took a year to come back, he hated it over there. Communism wasn't like it was in the textbooks that he had read, and he came back. But he's clearly on the intelligence radar for both the CIA and the FBI. That's not surprising. The issue is whether the CIA knew how unhinged Oswald was, especially in the weeks before the assassination. When he was in Mexico City, we now know that he took his gun out. He had a pistol with him at the Soviet embassy, slammed it on the desk, and the KGB agents who were interviewing him grabbed the pistol, emptied the bullets. It's a dramatic scene, and then sort of kicked him out of the embassy. Did the CIA know that? They had surveillance on the Soviet mission. If they did know that, why didn't they tell the FBI when Oswald came back to Dallas just a month before the assassination. Was it possibly preventable? You know, we know from 9/11, the CIA and FBI, they don't share information. So this would be the type of thing also that I'm looking for in these files.
One of the things that stuck out in the 1991 movie was the doctored photo, right? They had this convenient photo of Oswald holding the gun, and this is in the 60s, not before Photoshop, where you can make any picture look like anything. Do we expect in these documents not just words but pictures? Will we see that allegedly doctored photo of Lee Harvey Oswald?
Yeah, no. So we haven't seen anything like that. I do think we may see some pictures still that the House Select Committee, the House Select Committee in the late 70s reinvestigated the case. There might be some film clips from some of those who'd gone out to see the Kennedy motorcade go by that weren't right at the moment of the shooting, but before and afterwards. And so that could be new. We'll look for some of that. And I will say that, one of the things like the doctored photo as it was in JFK and Oliver Stone, I've often said, he's a fantastic filmmaker. But I also think that like the only thing almost that he got right in that film was the date on which Kennedy was killed. It's just hard to imagine the litany of things that are wrong. But I must say also thanks to him, because it was only because of that film, not only that the documents are getting released, but that I got a deal with Random House, not to write a book that said Oswald did it, but they said go and investigate the case. I thought the mafia was behind it when I started my work in the early 90s. Then I sort of followed the evidence and came to a different conclusion. But I don't think a publisher would have been interested in even doing a book like that on a flyer if Stone hadn't put the JFK assassination back into the public consciousness, and he did that with his film.
Yeah, perhaps the biggest historical legacy of that film was that it got it back, Americans talking about it. I want to ask you one final question. I wasn't alive when this happened, but what fascinates me the most, I think, of the whole story is the Jack Ruby angle, where he assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald on live television, right? People were watching that live when it went down. Will we hear anything about Jack Ruby in these unredacted files?
We might. I'm looking for that, and I expect to find some of it. And, I just think that you mentioned the most important thing. We talk often about bullet angles and, the photographs and CIA and Oswald in Mexico City. But the real reason, the public will never really be settled on a consensus on what happened in this case is because 2 days after, the person suspected to be the assassin, Oswald, is arrested. He's killed in Dallas police custody by a guy who looks like he's out of central casting for the mafia, Jack Ruby. Now, I go through it in detail and explain why I think that wasn't a plot, but that's why I was initially suspicious the mob was behind it, because Oswald's murder does look like a silencing. He never has his day in court. The evidence is never presented. No wonder people are suspicious about the case.
Ted Cruz's dad, is he in the clear? Did he get cleared so far?
Yes, I haven't even seen. It's interesting how Trump, only accused Cruz's dad when Cruz was running against Trump for the presidency. Now that they've all made up and everybody's happy, I guess Cruz's dad is in the clear.
He's got an alibi. Gerald Posner, fascinating stuff. If folks want to learn more about you and your books, can we find you on a website or social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Gerald Posner. I'm on Substack at Just the Facts, and I have a website that's just Posner.com, Posner.com.
Phenomenal stuff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your insight. Quick break when we come back. Marietta, folks, I'm about to be your hero. I'll explain next on The Mark Arum Show.
All the notifications you need.
The story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
Time changes, season changes. March is a busy month. Dave Baker here for Coolray. Now is the perfect time to get your heating and cooling system tuned up. Coolray will tune up your system for just $79 or get up to $2,250 in rebates on a new Carrier heating and cooling system that comes with the lifetime parts and labor warranty. Simply schedule your appointment online today at Coolray.com. Just pick the time and day that works best for you. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain? Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
If you're approaching or in retirement, listen closely. The stock market has been volatile. Are you tired of seeing your retirement account nosedive? With so much going on in the world, how can you be confident that your retirement is safe? Let me show you how. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Retirement is meant to be enjoyed, but it's hard when you're not sure that your nest egg is safe. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we wrote the book on protecting your retirement. It's called Retirement of Steel, and each of our clients enjoys a retirement of steel that can weather any storm. If you're not 100% sure that your retirement account is safe, contact us today for a complimentary review. Let's see if the strategies that we're using to help people retire confidently can work for you. I think you'd agree 40 years of working hard and saving for retirement is worth this call. Call 888-471-3896, 888-471-3896, again 888-471-3896. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
A word of caution for motorcycle riders. Remember, 18-wheelers have bigger blind spots and it takes them longer to stop than a smaller vehicle. Eric Von Hassler here to remind you that if an 18-wheeler forces you to lay your bike down, you need to call in Steel Horse Law. Attorney George Stein is a motorcycle rider and he understands bikers' needs. Get more info and request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
9:52 on the Mark Arum Show. Back to delays on the West Freeway live with the latest. Mike Shields.
Yeah, pretty slow now as you make your way into Lithia Springs. Mark with a crash working I-20 eastbound at Thornton Road, exit 44. Live look at the jam cam. Traffic now crawling, so I expect at least 2 lanes blocked with this. Delays already back to Lee Road, exit 41 in the way station. You can always use Highway 78 as a way around that. And slow in Suwannee, 85 northbound past Sugarloaf Parkway. Left lane roadwork setting up. Delays building. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
And so if you're thinking about the onshoring of production, the sort of increasing of the welfare of workers that comes from well-paying jobs, that's what we're seeing.
That's Kevin Hassett, Trump economic advisor, says there won't be a recession. The Fed expected to make a decision on interest rates today. Mike McKee from Bloomberg News is going to join us live at 11:05. Again, if you're just joining us, Ice Baby. 1 hour from now, Vanilla Ice joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. All right, great stuff by the way about Gerald Posner. I know Deborah is in the middle of reading those 80,000 documents for us, so we'll have her full report on Friday's edition of the Mark Arum Show. I'm going to be a hero for my friends in Marietta right now. I'm going to use this microphone for good. I'm going to spare you the ugly details, but yesterday after the show, we had my meeting with the boss, and then I had to go to Kennesaw to take care of some stuff. And I'm driving up 75 north, and there's a crash 75 south at Delk Road. Half the interstate's blocked. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm never going to get home. So I go to Kennesaw, take care of my business, and then Waze is like, don't get on 75, Aram. And I'm texting with Alex Williams. I'm like, I know. So I take Cobb Parkway. I'm heading south on Cobb Parkway, Highway 41. Trying to get to the North Loop, the North Marietta intersection. Traffic, I mean, everyone was fleeing 75, so Cobb Parkway was rough. I don't know who's in charge of timing the traffic lights on Cobb Parkway. I believe that's a state road, so I think it's the DOT. But holy cow, those are the worst time traffic lights. The turn light. So I'm heading south on Cobb Parkway at the North Marietta Parkway. There's 2 turn lanes to go left onto the North Marietta Parkway. I sat at that turn light for 15 minutes. Like 4 or 5 cars at the max could make that left-hand turn. Now, I'm often on the North Loop heading over past Cobb Parkway to go to like the Marietta Diner and all that. So I've never had a problem that way. But whoever is in charge of the turn signals, Cobb Parkway at the North Loop, you got to get your ish together, man. 15 minutes at the turn light. And it wasn't, I mean, I was in the turn lanes. It wasn't backed out onto the 4 or 5 cars a pop. Come on.
And they got a camera there, too, so that people are like, oh, I'm not running that.
I don't care. I was beside myself. Now, I know it's 2025. We have smart AI kind of software to manage traffic lights when things are crazy. I mean, there was a gridlock alert on 75 South. They should have known, all right, the traffic on Cobb Parkway is going to be rough. Let's adjust it. And the regular lights were fine. Like the lights were timed perfectly for folks going north and south on Cobb Parkway or east and west on the North Marietta Parkway. But that freaking turn light, you know, the green arrow to turn left?
Yeah, no, I know where you're exactly where
5
you're at.
cars. 15. And listen, I know this isn't the border. This isn't the economy. But I want to make your life better. I'm going to use this microphone for good. Mike Shields in the traffic center. Mike, what do I got to do to get these turn signals fixed?
Yeah, it sounds like a state thing, especially with Cobb Parkway, right? But yeah, we run into that the weird times we come in the morning time. Sometimes you could be the only car sitting at an intersection and it just sits and sits. And I have that experience, especially at Cobb Parkway, at North Marietta Parkway. At 3 o'clock in the morning, that light does not change.
Well, the good news, Mike has this fake police light he puts on the top of his car and then just zips right through it.
It's like Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, please, my friends at the DOT, I love you. But you got to do something about those turn signals. Cobb Parkway, North Marietta Parkway. I will fund whatever software update is needed. But more than 5 cars should be able to turn left from Cobb Parkway onto the North Marietta Parkway. All right. I did my good deed for the day. Speaking of transportation, are we about to see major changes at the FAA? Transportation Secretary Duffy thinks we need them. We'll update that story next on the Mark Arum Show.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Got a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services is around the corner with everything you need to fix it, including the expert to do the fixing. Heating or cooling issue? We've got a trusted pro for that, too. We're not just the helpful hardware folks. We're the helpful home service and repair folks, too. From plumbing to heating and cooling, the licensed and insured experts at Ace Hardware Home Services are ready to keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
After a stormy weekend, you may need My Roofer, FGA Roofing. This is Scott Slade. They can respond within 24 hours to assess any damage to your roof and assist in documenting what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
For only a few more days, you can get 3 rooms of carpet clean plus a free hallway from Zero Res for only $109 when you mention me, Chris Chandler. This offer ends soon, so schedule your appointment now before it's too late. Schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Dr. Roof. This hour, the Georgia Supreme Court will be hearing arguments on a controversial election rule changes.
Days before November's presidential election, the state Supreme Court declined to rush an appeal after a lower court blocked controversial last-minute election rule changes as illegal and unconstitutional. Now the appeal date is here, and justices will hear 2 cases argued together. Among the most contentious rule changes were things like mandating hand-counted ballot stacks or making vote certification optional, things opponents said would violate state law and open the door to fraud or mishandling. This will decide whether some of those rules go on the books ahead of the next election cycle. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Our your weather for today, sunny, breezy, and warm. We're headed for a high of 80 degrees this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. Well, the University of Georgia has set a new record for admissions.
The university receives the most applications it's ever received for the class of 2029 with nearly 48,000 applicants. That's up by about 5,000 from the year prior. In total, nearly 16,000 students have been accepted for the fall semester with an overall acceptance rate of 33%. The vast majority of those are from Georgia, but the class does include students from all 50 states. The top intended majors include biology, finance, undecided business, psychology, and mechanical engineering. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Kennesaw State University hosting a groundbreaking ceremony today, signaling the start of construction of a new residence hall.
The Summit 2 Residence Hall will house 462 students, mostly freshmen on the Kennesaw campus. The nearly 97,000 square foot dorm will be a mix of single and double bedroom suites, along with community areas and study spaces. It's set to open ahead of the fall 2026 semester, adjacent to the Summit 1, which began housing students 3 years ago.
And WSB Cheryl Castro reporting the new residence hall will raise the number of student beds to more than 6,300 across Kennesaw State University's Kennesaw and Marietta campuses. Some passengers on a Delta flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles have a story to tell today. The FAA saying that the Delta crew on Flight 501 reported an unruly passenger. Apparently, the man bit a passenger and then punched several others. He was escorted off that plane, taken to the hospital for a mental evaluation. The passenger's name has not yet been released, but he could be facing some very serious charges and a hefty fine. The U.S. Supreme Court hears from a free speech advocacy group who tells the High Court that a Georgia tax on strip clubs violates the First Amendment.
The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression weighed in on the tax, saying content-based laws are forbidden under the Constitution. The group filed a friend of the court brief and was joined by the First Amendment Lawyers Association. Last month, the Georgia Association of Club Executives asked the Supreme Court to review a state high court ruling that said the tax was content neutral because it's aimed at addressing the negative effects of strip clubs, not the actual dancing. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
Wayfair announcing that it's opening a new brick and mortar store in Metro Atlanta. It's going to be located at 1801 Howell Mill Road. It's set to open sometime next year. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 219 points at 41,800. The Dow's up more than 0.5%. Nasdaq's up almost a full percent, and the S&P's in positive territory, up more than 0.5% here in the 10 o'clock hour. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca has a look at your roads.
Good morning, Sabrina. We've got a left lane crash in Lithia Springs causing some backups on I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road. Not bad enough for an alternate route yet. And the earlier truck crash in Ackworth, they've moved to the shoulder now. 75 north of Wade Green. Still some slow traffic there. And construction delays in Duluth. Up to 3 left lanes blocked on 85 north past Sugarloaf Parkway. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, warm today. High near 80. That south wind pulling in that warm air, gusting as high as 30 miles per per hour. But a cold front arrives after midnight, bringing rain showers for tomorrow morning. Temperatures will drop into the upper 40s, low 50s through tomorrow afternoon, continuing to fall into low 30s by Friday morning.
It is 52 degrees in Sandy Springs, 51 in Dallas. Johns Creek has 54 degrees. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Wednesday morning to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 10:05, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon at 95.5 WSB. The whole family with us today. Deborah Green, the executive producer of the show. Longoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Vinny Bag of Donuts screens your calls. Coming up in 30 minutes, going to talk tech with Kim Commando. Vanilla Ice joins us live at 10:50. And Deborah's got some amazing tickets to give away in the 11 o'clock hour. So far, if you just joined us, we missed a lot. We had Mark Strassman live from Houston at the Johnson Space Center. The successful return of Butch and Sonny. Gerald Posner. If you missed the segment we had last half hour with the author of JFK books and a JFK expert, amazing stuff. Make sure you listen on the WSB radio app to that. Phenomenal interview with Gerald Posner there. We're going to get to the state of the FAA in just a second because that's really been a big story so far in 2025. But I want to briefly touch on this. I don't want to say a dust-up between President Trump and Chief Justice Roberts, but there might be something there. President Trump received a rare public rebuke from Supreme Court Justice John Roberts after the president called for the impeachment of a federal judge who ruled against the administration on deportation flights. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce has more from D.C.
In a statement, Chief Justice John Roberts saying for more than 2 centuries it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. Trump responding to the Chief Justice, saying Roberts never mentioned him by name, though it was clear Roberts was responding to the president's statement.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. Now, I'm not going to offer an opinion on the deportation flights, right? If they're illegal and they've committed crimes, then yeah, deport them. I think the question is the process in which they are deported, right? We are a country with a nation of laws, and the laws need to be followed. And President Trump just lambasted this judge for putting a pause on these until he gets all the facts straight. So it's an interesting story to talk about. Kevin Liptak is outside the White House this morning on this tete-a-tete between Trump and Justice Roberts.
I can tell you just what Trump said. He essentially tried to shrug off the Roberts criticism, saying that he didn't think Roberts was talking specifically about him because he didn't name him in that statement, which is a little beyond the realm. I think it was pretty unambiguous what Roberts was saying there and who Roberts was talking to. But I do also think it's notable that the president is not trying to jump into a feud directly with the Chief Justice of the United States. Of course, so much of Trump's agenda is heading towards the Supreme Court, and he will need, at the end of the day, Justice Roberts if some of these items that he's been trying to enact are upheld by the highest court in the land. So Justice Roberts is one judge that President Trump does not seem to be interested in picking a fight with directly at the moment, but that's not stopping him from going after this other federal judge in Washington who has blocked the deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, but also, very notably, has cast some very intense skepticism on the administration's rationale for not turning around the planes of those alleged gang members, even though he specifically told them to. And so I think we do have some of the sound from the president. Let's listen to what he said in response to Justice Roberts.
He didn't mention my name in the statement. I just saw it quickly. He didn't mention my name, but many people have called for his impeachment, the impeachment of this judge. I don't know who the judge is, but he's radical left. What do you do when you have a rogue judge? The judge that we're talking about, you look at his other rulings, I mean, rulings unrelated, but having to do with me, he's a lunatic.
So not backing off at all against that criticism of the judge in Washington. And this is part of a concerted strategy here. This is not Trump necessarily sort of going off on his own. When you listen to White House advisors, they do believe that the majority of the country is behind them on these hardline deportation tactics, and that by going after the judge in this case, it only bolsters the president politically. So I don't think you can expect him to back off. In fact, he did not back off overnight when he was posting on Truth Social. He said if a president doesn't have the right to throw murderers and other criminals out of our country because a radical left lunatic judge wants to assume the role of president, then our country is in very big trouble and destined to fail. But, notably, he'd stopped short of calling again for this judge's impeachment, perhaps internalizing somewhat some of what Roberts told him in that statement.
Kevin Liptak at the White House this morning. Certainly an interesting story to follow, and we are awaiting the judge's ruling on that deportation flight. Again, we went in depth on that, the 18th century law that the Trump administration used to expedite those deportations. We'll obviously update that story throughout the day and the coming days here on 95.5 WSB. All right, big news at the FAA. Joining us from ABC News, it's Jared Kofsky. Jared, one of the biggest stories in 2025 has been these air disasters or near air disasters. But, issues at the FAA isn't a new problem. You and ABC News did a deep dive in what's going on at the FAA. What do listeners here in Atlanta need to know?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Red flags have been raised at the FAA for decades. You go back to 1990, there was a hearing in Congress, and they were saying at the time that the FAA was experiencing problems modernizing its ATC system. So these red flags are nothing new, but, especially in light of the tragic plane crash we saw in Washington, people are taking a deeper dive at the ATC system, and they're now saying, the new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, that he wants to totally overhaul the system within the next 4 years.
What exactly is the ATC system? What does ATC stand for?
Sure. So ATC is air traffic control. So air traffic control is, run by the FAA, and especially, in a place like Atlanta, it's very important, and it employs a lot of people, in the Atlanta area in particular. And when you look at some of these reports, it kind of gives the FAA, I guess, like a mixed grade here, because it does acknowledge that over the years they have made different strides to improve the FAA system, but there have been so many issues along the way. Everything from staffing shortages. There was a report that came out in 2023 about staffing shortages, and it said, just at the FAA's Atlanta Center alone, that they were authorized to have 42 supervisors, and they only had 33. And, that might sound like, okay, we're only missing, a handful of supervisors here, but when you tally that up across the country, they've had a lot of issues.
Yeah, shortfall for sure. We see it here in Atlanta at the world's busiest airport. What does Secretary Duffy plan to do about these staffing shortages in these towers?
We don't know too many details as to what his plans are yet. We do know that he said that changes should have been made 4 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But he said it's going to be a brand new air traffic control system, and he wants to do it in 4 years. So it's a pretty ambitious timeline. The FAA has already had, what they've been calling like a next generation system that they've been working on since around 2008. That was supposed to be completed in 2025. So they have been in the process of making upgrades, but it's not clear now if we're going to be, completely starting from scratch when it comes to the ATC system, or if the overhaul is going to involve existing technology they have there now.
Jared Kofsky, ABC News, joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Anecdotally, we've heard from staffers here at Hartsfield-Jackson talking about the antiquated system that they have, and it just hasn't kept up with technology, right? You just look at how quickly our smartphones have developed in the last 5, 10, 15 years. And the computer systems in these towers hasn't kept up. I know Elon Musk has weighed in on this. 2 Musk questions. Does he have a solution for the antiquated system? And is DOGE going to keep their hands off the FAA and the staffing there?
Yeah, it's a good question. We don't really know yet what's going to happen. We haven't seen, a concrete plan yet as to what the future of the FAA is going to hold. But, one thing I think, Democrats and Republicans can agree here is that, there have been lots of issues there. You go back to, just in September, a couple of months before this tragedy occurred, there was a report that came out from the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, and they said the FAA has been slow to modernize the most critical and at-risk systems. I'm quoting here. And then they said that about a third 1/3 of the FAA air traffic control systems are considered unsustainable. This was in September, only a few months before the crash happened, and there are reports like that going back decades. So while we don't really know what's going to happen from here, it's very clear based on these reports that there's a lot of fixing that's possible.
Final question for you, Jared. Do we have any updates on the investigation on that crash in D.C. in the Potomac River?
We don't have too many updates yet, unfortunately. I mean, right now the NTSB and the FAA are still doing a deep dive into this. But one thing that the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, actually brought up, they put on their website just a few weeks ago, a lot of the previous work that they've done, like just to make it clear that, this is not a new issue here when it comes to air traffic control concerns. Now, we don't know yet, what role, if any, air traffic control, might have played in the D.C. plane crash. The investigation is going to play all that out. But at a time when air traffic control is under the microscope and changes could be coming, I'm sure the investigation will take a deep dive into what's happening in D.C. with ATC systems.
Indeed. Jared Kofsky, ABC News. Jared, thanks so much for your time.
Much appreciated.
You might remember after that tragic plane crash in D.C., President Trump said we need to hire geniuses from MIT to work in these air traffic control towers. MIT grads, where do they fall on the list of the richest college graduates? And are there any Georgia schools that produce rich college graduates? I'll tell you the top schools where your kids can make money next on The Mark Arum Show.
I try even when I don't agree.
The opinions expressed are his.
To at least exercise some basic empathy.
And that's what makes you listen.
Coming in like a wrecking ball, taking it all out. It's fantastic.
Eric Erickson.
Today, starting at noon.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It only happens once a year. It's always fun. It's our signature Sign and Drive event. All you got to do is sign and drive with no money down and no payments for 90 days. Plus, at Beaver Toyota, you'll receive exclusive Beaver benefits with your new car. Benefits like no-charge oil changes and car washes. And yes, even complimentary loaner cars and a lifetime powertrain warranty. It's our annual Sign and Drive event. Now, this is the way car buying should be. Only at Beaver Toyota. We're here to wow you.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. The one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
It's what welcomes people to your home, and first impressions are everything. Your front door. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage and Entry Doors. We're the experts for every opening in your home. Not only your garage door, but your windows and your front door too. Replace your dated single front door with a gorgeous double door. No matter the size of your entrance, we can customize and install the double doors of your dreams. Make your front door grand. Get started at all4seasonsgarages.com.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, you can save on USDA Choice Boneless Chuck Roast, on sale for just $6.99 a pound with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, March 21st through 23rd, you're going to have the opportunity to work with their expert jewelers to redesign your engagement ring or any special piece into something new and extraordinary. And with up to $3,000 in savings or 0% APR for 3 years, your dream redesign is within reach. So make an appointment today at dgeller.com. Walk-ins are welcome, but scheduling guarantees you personalized attention at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's trusted jeweler since 1939.
10:21 on the Mark Arum Show. Delays in and out of Midtown Atlanta. Live with the latest. Our favorite Frasca, Ashley Frasca.
Ooh, I won't tell John you said that. Thanks. We had all lanes blocked with a crash. Now all lanes are open leaving downtown 85 North before the Buford Spring Connector, so you'll expect delays to improve there. 400 South, you're on the brakes from Lenox Road. They're working in the left lane of the ramp from 400 South onto I-85. Construction delays in Duluth, working in the left lanes of 85 North at Sugarloaf, and trying to wrap up a crash on the West Freeway in the left lane, 20 East past Thornton. Traffic brought to you by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Come relax at their Four Diamond Lodge and Spa or charming cottage experience, vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway now at CallawayGardens.com. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
10:21 on the Mark Arum Show. Kim Commando at 10:35. Vanilla Ice, yeah, that dude at 10:50. Mike McKee from Bloomberg joins us at 11 after the news. The latest from the Fed and interest rates, and Deborah's got some amazing tickets to give away. All right, this was, I'm long past my college graduation days, but I know a lot of parents out there, you're about to send the kids off to school or they're applying for schools. Deborah sent me a list of the schools with the richest graduates, right? The richest graduates. Now, it breaks down to two categories, early career pay and mid-career pay. I searched my alma mater, Marist College, now Marist University, they're all fancy, to see what it is. I can't find them on the list, but I know my early career pay was $8 an hour, $32 a day. I worked 4 hours for $8 an hour. That's not going to cut it. It didn't cut it in 97. It's certainly not going to cut it in 2025. But just for your knowledge, some of the highest paid universities, Dartmouth's at 18th on this list. Yale University, 13th. $78,000 for early pay for a graduate of Yale, $151,000 for mid-career. California Institute of Technology's 10th. University of Pennsylvania Ivy League school is tied at 10. Harvard comes in at 6th, $80,000 for early graduates and $156,000 a year for mid-career pay. Stanford is 5 at $87,000 for early pay, $156,000 a year. This was pretty cool. Number 4, U.S. Naval Academy is 4th for richest graduates. That's great. $83,000 for early career pay, $160,000 for mid-career pay. So go Navy. That's amazing. Princeton is number 3, $81,000 for early career pay, $161,000. Number 1. President Trump was right. Hire the geniuses. I'm doing number 1 before I do number 2 because number 2 is crazy. But the number one is MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Early career pay is $93,000 a year. Mid-career pay is $167,000. And number two on the list, I've never heard of this school, Harvey Mudd College. Have you ever heard of Harvey Mudd?
I thought you were going to say Harvard at first.
No, Harvey Mudd College. I had to Google it. It's a private liberal arts college in Claremont, California, focused on science and engineering. So I guess the tech bros go there, all the Silicon Valley. I'd never heard of it until now. Harvey Mudd College graduates, early career pay $97,000 a year, mid-career pay $166,000. Deborah, I've been scanning this list trying to find any Georgia schools on this rich graduate list. Did you come up with any?
Yeah, Georgia Tech actually comes in at number 26 with an early pay of $78 and a mid pay of $143, but no other Georgia schools on the list.
All right, so that doesn't surprise me, right? Tech grads, super smart, engineers, they're going to make money. I would have thought maybe Emory might have been on that list, or UGA. It's such a... Oh, speaking of UGA, this is crazy. I don't know if you are going to try to take advantage of the Hope Scholarship, Longoria, and send your daughters to the University of Georgia, but record number of applicants this year, Deborah. This is a crazy number.
It's almost graduation time, and a record number of students are applying to UGA. The university already announced its decisions for the class of 2029. They received about 48,000 applications. Over 15,000 were granted, giving that an acceptance rate of 33%. The average grade point average for students is 4.08 with an ACT score of 30 to 34. And these are from all 50 states trying to get into UGA, but the school mostly admitting Georgians.
That's 48,000 applicants to go to Athens. That is insane. And it's so funny. We have so many UGA grads that work here at WSB Radio. And to a man, woman, and child, they go, oh, I couldn't get in now. You know, they went to school in the 80s or 90s or early 2000s. They're like, no, I mean, a 4.08, that's over an A, is the average GPA of the applicant going into Georgia. I know I couldn't get into Marist College now. It's a miracle. Good thing I played baseball, was on the debate team. That's the only reason I got in there. It's getting so much more difficult to get into colleges, and yet so much more expensive to get into colleges. Harvard's going to do free tuition, though, for families that make under $200,000 a year, I think. So you're out of that, Longoria. Sorry, your kids can't go to Harvard for free. If I was making $205,000 a year and my kid got into Harvard, I'd quit my job.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, I'm working at Starbucks now. I'm a barista. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, hitting our top local stories. And Kim Comando's going to join us live. We'll talk tech with the... goddess of technology, Kim Komando. Social media is active at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Welcome to Take 5 Oil Change.
Hey, which way is your waiting room?
Oh, you can stay in your car. It only takes 10 minutes.
I can stay in? Get out. I better find a good playlist to listen to while I wait. EDM? Nah. Oh, what about something classical? Nah. You got any suggestions?
Dad rock?
Now you speaking my language.
Take 5. The stay in your car 10-minute oil change.
Can you remember the last time you turned on the shower and all you got was cold water? Hopefully you don't have a fresh memory of that. Hey, it's Mark Arum. I want you to check out my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Great new deal on a new water heater. Check it out, guys. Only $29.99 a month and no payments for 3 whole months. No credit check and an unbeatable lifetime warranty. Or you want to go tankless? It's only $59.99 a month and you can enjoy endless hot water. Think about those long, hot showers in the cold, cold winter. Their new water heater installations come with their 100% satisfaction guarantee, same-day water heater installation guaranteed, or they pay you $300. And with their Comfort as a Service program, you get lifetime repair and maintenance, no additional charges ever, no money down, and just easy monthly payments. So new water heater, $29.99 a month, or tankless, $59.99 a month. Amazing deal. Amazing hot water, amazing service. Go online to reliableair.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
This is Scott Slade. If you think you've had storm damage, get in touch with My Roofer, FGA Roofing. They can respond within 24 hours to assess roof damage and assist in giving you what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather, traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta AMCO dealers. There are new concerns this morning about the safety of some baby formula. A new Consumer Reports study finds what it says are concerning levels of contaminants. Correspondent Nancy Chen has more.
Several formulas were found by Consumer Reports to have some harmful contaminants, landing them in the worst choice list. 8, including those by Abbott, Perico, and Mead Johnson, according to Consumer Reports, were found to have exceeded their determined daily limits of inorganic arsenic, a known carcinogen.
And this comes as the federal government announces initiatives aimed at making infant formulas safer. Your weather for today, sunny, breezy, and warm. Afternoon highs right there around 80 degrees, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. An international United Nations staffer has been killed, 5 others wounded in a strike on a UN guest house in the Gaza Strip. The head of the UN Office for Project Services talking to reporters this morning, but declined to say who carried out that strike. He said the explosive ordnance was dropped or fired and that the blast was not accidental. He did not provide the nationalities of those killed or wounded. The Israeli military, which has carried out a heavy wave of airstrikes since early Tuesday, denied earlier reports that it had targeted the UN compound. Back here at home, it's a renewed call for the public's help in finding a driver who hit and killed a pedestrian in Gwinnett County at the height of Hurricane Helene last fall. Gwinnett Police Corporal Juan Marieto says it happened about 4 a.m. on the morning of September 27th, right in the middle of that severe weather.
This young woman, Mika Woodard, she was walking down the shoulder of 316 eastbound near Breckenridge when she was fatally struck by a motor vehicle.
Police believe that she was hit by a 2019 or 2022 Lexus RX 350 or 450. Anybody with information being asked to contact police. The University of Georgia is setting records. The school saying it's received almost 48,000 applications for the class of 2029, up almost 5,000 from the year before, and a new record. Almost 16,000 students were accepted for the upcoming fall semester, making the acceptance rate 33%. About 80% of those accepted are in-state students. And tennis is a big deal here in Metro Atlanta. And this morning, we're getting word that the Professional Tennis Players Association is suing the men's and women's tours. We get more from Mike Wallace.
The union claims the ATP, the WTA, and the International Tennis Federation act as a cartel to limit players' earnings and force them to play too much. The director of the union says tennis is broken and players' health and safety are in jeopardy. The union says its lawsuit has the support of 250 players, many of whom are ranked in the top 20.
And the Players Association is demanding a jury trial. You want to check your pantry today. Del Monte Foods is recalling some canned green beans. It's the first Target brand Good and Gather cut green beans that we're talking about that may be contaminated with a foreign object. They didn't say what that object is. These recalled products, the green beans, have a best used by date of October 28th, 2026. The Good and Gather cut green beans were sold at Targets all across the nation, in 21 states, in fact, including here in Georgia. You are urged not to eat those green beans. You can take them back for a refund. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's up almost a full percent, and the S&P's not far behind. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca has a look at your roads.
Authorities just had to block all lanes again, trying to get a crash out of the left lane, and they're doing just that. I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road, so you're on the brakes leaving Lee Road, and big delays getting through Duluth. Crews are working in 2 to 3 left lanes, doing some road work on 85 north past Sugarloaf Parkway. They're also working out of Buckhead, the end of the Georgia 400 southbound ramp to I-85. The left lane of that ramp is blocked. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Warm and breezy today, partly cloudy, high near 80, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. A cold front will bring morning rain showers for Thursday, then chilly temperatures in the afternoon, highs in the upper 40s, low 50s, waking up Friday morning with temperatures near freezing.
It is a gorgeous morning. WSB Storm Tracker radar is absolutely clear. We have sunshine, 60 degrees in Tucker and Buford. Fairburn has 58 degrees right now. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
Why do you always go after the game show host of The Price is Right?
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Don't tell me how to handle my life.
Eric Von Hessler.
Or anyone else.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
SpaceX Freedom, splashdown. Good main release.
Copy, splashdown.
Still to come, good news. Butch and Sonny return home. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk technology with Kim Commando. 2 minutes away on the Mark Arum Show.
See this garage door? I got to be honest with you. It's ugly. I mean, successful, attractive homeowner like you, it's time to move on. This is not the garage door your parents thought you'd spend the rest of your life with. And that ain't true with everything in life, don't get me wrong. I mean, honey, if you're listening, you can't divorce me just because I'm no longer the handsome stud you married. But your garage door? The neighbors all think you can totally do better. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Let us show you how many sexy new alternatives there are. Just waiting for someone like you. You swipe right on a beautiful new design, we install everything in a lovely ceremony, and you and your new garage door live happily ever after. For better, not worse. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come make it right. Maybe I should pick up some flowers on the way home.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, and here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
10:37. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. In just a few minutes, Vanilla Ice is going to join us live on the Mark Arum Show. Mike McKee from Bloomberg after the news at 11 to see what the Fed is going to do about interest rates. And Deborah's got some amazing tickets to give away in the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to revisit Mark Strassman from CBS News. Joined us earlier in the show from the Johnson Space Center. In case you're just joining us, a little before 6 p.m., Butch and Sonny splashed and returned home safely after their 9-month exhibition in outer space. Crazy. Good for them. They should never have to work another day in their life for doing all that. When I grew up, where I grew up, rural Connecticut, there was the Burrville Volunteer Fire Department. Burrville was like the neighborhood I grew up in Torrington. That's all. It was just a little tiny nook of Torrington, and there was the Burrville Volunteer Fire Department, and they would have clam bakes there, fundraisers, and they had basketball hoops. So me and my buddy EJ we'd always hang out at the and we were kind of in awe of these volunteer firefighters. Right? They're not getting paid. They're risking their lives. The alarm would go. These volunteers would just show up to the fire department, go out and do the call. And And I remember EJ and I thinking like, yeah, when we're adults, we're going to be volunteer fire department people. I don't know if that the Burrillville Fire Department is still a thing or not. Growing up in Corpus Christi, did you guys have a volunteer fire department? That was a big town. You didn't,
we had a regular city
you had a regular
fire department.
Yeah. All right, Deborah, what about you growing up in Wisconsin? Did you have a volunteer fire department?
We did, but mostly farmers just put their own fires out.
Yeah, okay. They know what to do. But that was like they were the local heroes, the volunteer fire department. So I've always held them in high regard. That's when Deborah sent me this story today. I was like, oof. It involves a local volunteer fire department. I'll let you take it away.
This is awful. A volunteer firefighter has been arrested after sharing crime scene photos. Now, this was the case of the missing twins who were later found on top of Bell Mountain. Initially thought to be a murder-suicide, but no official cause has been ruled by the coroner yet, so there's still some investigating going on. But the volunteer firefighter was at the scene, took pictures, and then later shared them to social media.
Yeah, all right. So, again, all respect to anyone that volunteers. I wonder if there's one in Decatur or Tucker I could join. I'm not what they're looking for sure.
What would you do?
I don't know. I could, I could be like Kramer on the back of the fire truck. I know the best routes. I know the streets. So I could. All right, that'll be my thing. I'm going to look into that. Why not? I need to give back to the community. I'm not going to be the guy that is climbing on the roof, but I'll navigate the fire trucks to where they're going. And again, this is an isolated incident. No disparagement on anyone. Any professional firefighter or volunteer firefighter, you men and women are really brave. Thank you for your service, etc. That's just, it's one thing to take a picture. Especially, we have, for the first time in history, we have cameras on us all the time. There was a funny line that Dave Chappelle had with Jerry Seinfeld in Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. He goes, "You know what phrase you never hear anymore? Oh, I wish I had a camera." Remember,
true.
Growing up, how many times did you, your parents, or your friends say, "Oh, what a great moment! I wish I had a camera." We don't have to wish we have a camera anymore. We have cameras on our phone that are better than anything we ever grew up with. Those flash bulb cameras that. Anyway. It's one thing to take a picture, right? That's our automatic, and I'm guilty of it. I see something weird or cute or funny. First thing I do, I got to take a picture of this. So I probably wouldn't have taken a picture of two dead kids, but I understand that's the knee-jerk reaction of us in 2025. Oh, let me document this. I could let that slide. You see this gruesome discovery, you're like, oh, but then to take the next step of sharing it, that and not just like, oh my God, like let's see, this morning I got chicken biscuits for the crew.
Thank you, buddy.
From Chick-fil-A. You're welcome. So what did I do? I took a picture. I was like, oh, chicken biscuit. Took a picture and texted it to Ashley Smiling and Mark McKay. Haha, chicken. Maybe you share it on a private text chain. Be like, oh, I just came to this crime scene. You're not going to believe what, I might text it to Longoria. Look out, this is just awful. But to post it on social media, that's just not right. That's just not right. Again, this guy might be obviously he's a volunteer firefighter. Maybe this is just an outlier, wasn't thinking straight, was so traumatized by seeing this, he felt he should share it. No. I'm not going to judge this man. I don't know him. I will judge that one action. I'm not even going to fault him for taking the picture. That's what we do now. We just take pictures of stuff. But to post it on social media, that to me is a bridge too far. All right. I have all these lofty goals. I don't have enough hours in the day.
CIA, fireman.
Exactly. Volunteer fire. I should do, maybe, I could predict what's going to happen. If I go to the volunteer fire department in my neighborhood, they're going to be like, you know what, just make us dinner once a week or something. Bring us a casserole. Buy us Chick-fil-A. We appreciate your efforts there. Bring us some snacks.
Be like the team mom.
Yeah,
you're bringing snacks.
Yeah,
for the team,
just bring in snacks. Speaking of snacks, apparently, because of what's going on with the economy and inflation, This hasn't happened in my house yet, but people are cutting back on snacks to save money.
It seems
Deborah.
like people are cutting back on the snacks, and it's not necessarily for health reasons. Doritos, Goldfish crackers, Ruffles, all kinds of cookies, pretzels, they all saw lesser sales in the last quarters. Now, companies are saying inflation is what's really causing people to cut back. Consumers are pushing back saying shrinkflation, less product but higher prices. And of course, some people have just lost their appetite after taking all that weight loss medication.
Yeah, the Ozempic people are to blame. The Manjaro, whatever. Now that I think about it, so I'm not cutting back on snacks per se, but I'm more judicious in my snack purchases. Like when I'm cruising the aisles of Publix, I'm looking for BOGOs. I don't just buy snacks willy-nilly. Like a couple weeks ago, I bought those cream cheese and chives crackers. They were BOGO. I forgot the maker of. They make the Nicot. Is that the name of it? Something like Captain's Wafer. I don't know. But they were BOGO, and I was like, I love these. So yeah, actually, subconsciously, I'm not going out. You know what I haven't bought in a long time? I used to, for a while, would just go buy a quart of ice cream. Be like, oh, I got to, and I would just eat that for like 2 weeks. I haven't done that in a long time. Yet I'm still getting fatter. I don't understand. Vinny, you live with your parents. I'm not, have your parents cut down on snacks? Are they not buying you as many Lunchables or whatever?
Yeah, no, I'm a gas station man. I'll run to the gas station myself. They're not doing that.
Your parents don't supply you with snacks.
Yeah.
You have. Let's say Colby comes over to watch Netflix and chill.
Okay, well, my dad doesn't. We don't. I caught that. My dad, he's not doing snacks. My mom will though.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a snack person.
She puts what are snacks is she putting out for Vinny Bag of Donuts?
My favorites, Cheez-Its, Cheese Puffs, things like that.
Uncrustables?
No, I don't do that one.
Uncrustables and Lunchables. That's what I envisioned Vinny's mom bringing to him every afternoon when he gets home from work. Here you go, Vinny.
A little bit of chocolate,
I cut the crust off your PB&J for you. All right. People are cutting back on snacks because of inflation, shrinkflation, and the economy. All right, quick break. We'll come back, update our top local stories, and I don't know how she did it, but Deborah Green booked Vanilla Ice. He joins us live next on The Mark Arum Show.
The Morning Rush Hour.
Looks to be a tanker truck crashed into the
Evening
median.
Rush Hour.
It is an absolute mess.
And everything in between.
Also, bring the speeds down. The rain is falling on 75 and 575.
Tune in 24/7 with the Triple Team Traffic Center.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic. Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Let me tell you, folks, Breda has got the bugs beat at the Arum house. Hey, it's Mark Arum, and my local friends at Breda Pest Management know my house inside and out. They've customized a unique treatment plan that stops any bugs and critters. And let's face it, we live in Georgia. We have bugs. We have a lot of bugs. We have critters. We have a lot of critters. We don't want the bugs and critters inside our home. That's where Breda comes in. With Breda, always a familiar, local person servicing my home and answering my calls, never an irritating automated call center. And the folks that come to my house, they're friendly, they're nice, they do an amazing job, and they care. Breda cares more and will work harder for you. They're our neighbors, and they've invested in our community, and doing it better is what the Breda family does. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. Get started at BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or consumercellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
10:51 on the Mark Arum Show. The Northeast, currently a beast, Ashley Frasca.
Yeah, a new crash on Highway 316 westbound, slowing your ride passing Riverside Parkway, trying to get out of Lawrenceville, and big construction delays through Duluth. Crews are working in 2 to 3 left lanes on 85 north past Sugarloaf Parkway. And you also have brake lights with road work leaving Buckhead. 400 south, they're working in the left lane of the ramp to I-85 headed toward downtown. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Well, Putin's assurances and words that he issues an order to not strike energy, that is insufficient.
That is a translator interpreting Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Again, the big phone call yesterday between President Trump and President Putin, maybe inching us closer to a temporary ceasefire deal. The details still have to be worked out. But overall, the reaction from Ukraine is not very optimistic. And again, the red line that I told you yesterday, the day before that, is that Ukraine is not going to want to give up any territory that Russia has gained over the last 3 years in the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll continue to update that story throughout the day. We're going to head back down to Houston. Mark Strassman from CBS is going to join us on the safe return of Butch and Sonny, the 2 astronauts that were stuck, not stranded, stuck in outer space for 9 months, but they splashed down yesterday and they are home safe and sound. And we're waiting on the Fed to make an update on the interest rates. But joining us live now as a child of the 80s, very excited to have us joining us live on the Mark Arum Show, the iconic Vanilla Ice. Vanilla Ice, how do you prefer to be called, sir?
Hey, I'll respond to either one, but I prefer Rob. But
All right,
it's not
Rob.
as cool as the other names.
Perfect. Well, let's start with
cool.
let's start with the origin story of Vanilla Ice. Rob, how did you get that moniker?
Well, I started off, breakdancing, and I was only 14, so we had a cardboard box that we'd flatten out at the mall and get to the busiest door and spin on my head and have a big jam box with batteries in it. And, make $30-40 a day, chase the girls around the mall, eat some pizza, see a movie. And, back then that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of started. And I had a dance move called the ice where it looks like I'm sliding across sideways. And then the name just became, I didn't even like the name. They were like, Vanilla. And I'm like, what? And they go, do the ice. And I'm like, oh, the dance move. And they said Vanilla Ice. So my buddies actually just nicknamed me.
Interesting.
I love it now, though. I love it now.
So in my head, I was like, oh, that must have been like invented by the record label. They were like, oh, but no, you had it from childhood. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah, this was my breakdancing team. This was all my breakdancing team. They named me Vanilla Ice since I was 14 years old. I've been Vanilla Ice. So.
I mean, when I was 13 and 14, I was breakdancing, but not to the level of success where I would take it to the mall and make money. But I certainly had some moves, the worm and the spin and all that stuff. So I can certainly relate to that. All right, so real quick, the I Love the 90s tour ongoing right now. This is phenomenal. It's you, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, Rob Bass, Color Me Bad, Montel Jordan, Atlanta resident. Tell us about the I Love 90s tour.
Oh, yeah, you hit it on the nail. It's epic. I mean, it's the last of the great decades before computers ruined the world. And you can relive it by coming out on this tour. And like you just said, all that lineup right there, and there's even more. And it's like all the music you would hear at a wedding today. You will recognize every song, and it'll get you up dancing like you're in a Zumba class, no matter how old or young you are. We have very broad demographics, because of YouTube and TikTok. So there's college kids out there and there's grandmas out there. It's awesome. And it is packed, and people get to relive this 90s, And I always say a funny little thing. I'm like, man, if you actually tallied up what these people actually the late fees that they probably owe in here for their Blockbuster card.
That's phenomenal. All right, so I mean, I am an old school hip hop junkie. Absolutely love it. The 80s, the 90s, the best era of music. Well, you came on the scene and absolutely obliterated the scene with your hit. Prior to that, did you have hip hop inspiration? Who are your favorite artists before you came out and just crushed it?
Yeah, I grew up to like Parliament, Funkadelic, Rick James. Zapp was one of my favorites. My first concert I ever went and saw Roger Troutman from Zapp, and I remember it. It influenced me. And then all of a sudden these movies came in like Breaking and Beat Street, Turbo and Ozone and all those guys. And I was just really young at that point, and I was like, what is this? This is awesome, and I was already into the funk. So it just fed right in. It influenced me, and I used to write poetry when I was, a little kid to the girls in school, so I was into poetry, and I don't know, man, this thing, it fit better than OJ's glove when it was time for me to make music.
That's amazing. Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Let's not forget that, the follow-up classic to,
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, so I'm from Connecticut. You grew up in Texas, is that right?
Well, I was born in Texas, grew up in Miami. Been in Miami 40 years, or South Florida 40 years. I'm in Palm Beach now.
I think we would have been buddies if we were in the same neighborhood. I think we would have been buddies. Similar tastes, similar interests. Looking back on your career, I'm sure the early success was just a whirlwind, right? It was just absolutely craziness.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a regret you have musically or professionally that you go, oh, I wish I had done this differently?
Well, there's all kinds of those things, but I believe that yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. You kind of balance everything out, I got 4 kids. Like I said, I'm the oldest teenager in town on the weekend, and then I get to be a lousy adult during the week and raise kids and handle all my businesses and things. So it keeps you active. Like I say, you got to wake up with purpose, meaning, drive, ambition. Otherwise, you're twiddling your thumbs here, man. You only live once. You got to have things and to sit on the front porch when you're old and talk about them, like Secondhand Lions. You want to tell some adventures. What are you doing with your life? And it's just sad to see people that they wake up and they actually do nothing with their life. They twiddle their thumbs, and it's just like it's like windshield wipers. When they come across your when they're going across, you don't really look at the windshield wipers. You look through it, right?
Yeah.
Those windshield wipers, every time it crosses your eye, is equal to an opportunity that you have just passed. So
Live
I look
life.
at it like there's opportunity every day. Get up early, go out and find an adventure.
Live life to the
happiness,
fullest, for sure. All right, the I Love
Life
the
with the
90s
pursuit of
tour.
happiness.
So excited. Rob, a.k.a. Vanilla Ice, best of luck on the tour. Thanks so much for your time, buddy.
Yeah, put your dancing shoes on. Come join us and be a teenager with us.
There you go. Forever. I'm forever 23. That's the mental age I'm going to stay forever. All right, that was Vanilla Ice. That was pretty cool. We'll be right back after news, weather, and traffic. It's the Mark Arum Show, WSB.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Anything better when the temperatures drop and it's freezing outside and you're nice and toasty inside? I can't wait. Hey, it's Mark Arum, back from my friends at Reliable Heating and Air. Check out this amazing furnace offer going on right now. $59.99 a month. That's it for any size furnace. And ask about their clean air upgrades. Stay warm and toasty with my friends at Reliable Air. Schedule your free consultation today by visiting reliableair.com. That's reliableair.com.
Hey everyone, it's your buddy Shelly Winter here. Join me this Saturday at noon for The Car Guys with Kevin Deutsch from Butler Lexus of South Atlanta. Buy or lease, fix or sell, everything you want to know about cars, we will cover Saturday noon to 1 right here on 95.5 WSB.
When it rains, you need to make sure your home is protected from the ground up. That means starting in your crawl space. Water in your crawl space can lead to problems in your house. Crawl space issues? Visit aquaguard.net today and book a free inspection. Remember, AquaGuard.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. In Gwinnett County, police hope that the public can help give them new leads in the search for a driver who was involved in a fatal hit and run at the height of Hurricane Helene.
24-year-old Mika Woodard of Sandy Springs was walking on the shoulder of Georgia 316 early on the morning of September 27th when she was hit and killed by a driver.
It was right during Hurricane Helene, was impacting Georgia, so the weather was real bad.
Corporal Juan Matiedo says they followed up on leads, but they need help.
We're asking anyone out there that might have seen something or knows something to please come forward.
Anyone with info can contact the agency or Crime Stoppers. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
All right, I hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy the weather today. It's going to be simply beautiful, sunny, breezy, warm, highs around 80, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Ukrainian President Zelensky says he will talk to President Trump about the next steps related to a ceasefire with Russia. Richard Engel reporting this morning it comes after Mr. Trump spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday, with the two agreeing to a limited ceasefire.
According to readouts from the Kremlin and the White House, President Putin agreed to stop for 30 days attacks on Ukraine's energy sector and infrastructure. And according to Ukrainian officials, shortly after that conversation, Russian drone attacks were continuing once again.
And the agreement also includes a prisoner swap today between the two countries. Zelensky said he's open to the agreement, but said that the U.S. will need to monitor the situation for it to work. After the talks yesterday, the Kremlin demanded an end to U.S. military aid to Ukraine. Well, Kennesaw State University breaking ground today on a new dorm on the campus there in Kennesaw.
It's called the Summit 2 and is aimed at first-year Kennesaw State students. The nearly 97,000 square foot dorm will include single and double bedroom suites, plus study spaces and community areas to accommodate 462 students. That'll bring the total number of student beds on both the Kennesaw and Marietta campus to 6,300.
And WSB Cheryl Castro reports the Summit 2 is scheduled to open just in time for the fall 2026 semester. More women over 40 are becoming first-time mothers. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, 2023 was the first year in which women 40 and older gave birth more than teenage girls did. Researchers say women may be waiting later in life to have babies because of financial reasons, changes in technology and dating behavior, and also an increase in the number of younger women attending college.
Overall, the nation's fertility rate has fallen 14% since 1990. And while we're talking about babies, worrisome findings this morning about baby formulas. A Consumer Report investigation finds several contain potentially harmful levels of lead and arsenic, which could pose health risk for young children. This comes as the federal government announces initiatives aimed at making infant formulas safer. And the Federal Reserve wraps up its two-day policy meeting this afternoon. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger predicting it won't be swayed, though, by the recent downswing in the market, and it won't change the current benchmark interest rate.
So no changes on your credit card interest, no changes on those savings account interest rates, everything as is.
And she says it appears that the Fed's going to be waiting to see how the newly enacted tariffs on U.S. trade partners will impact the economy and inflation. The markets are in the green this morning. The Dow is up more than 0.5%. So is NASDAQ and the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Right now, watching a slow zone, the one we're used to out of Buckhead into Midtown. It's 400 southbound with that left lane construction on the ramp to I-85 southbound. Once you get into Midtown and downtown, a little sluggish. 75-85 southbound, 17th Street down to North Avenue. We also have construction up in Duluth on 85 northbound, passing Sugarloaf Parkway exit 108. That construction is in 3 left lanes. No big need for an alternate right now, but if you'd like, you could use that access road. And it looks like the crash is cleared I-20 eastbound past Thornton Road, exit 44. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy, warm today. High near 80. That south wind pulling in that warm air, gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. But a cold front arrives after midnight, bringing rain showers for tomorrow morning. Temperatures will drop into the upper 40s, low 50s through tomorrow afternoon, continuing to fall into the low 30s by Friday morning.
61 degrees in Alpharetta. It's 59 in Vinings. Powder Springs, you have sunshine and 60 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I'll run this town to be near you.
11:05 on, is today the first day of spring? It's spring-like here in Atlanta. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Picking up some breaking news. Apparently, President Trump is having a phone call right now with Ukrainian President Zelensky, and we're getting word from Ukrainian officials. They have confirmed a prisoner swap with Russia. 175 on both sides. We'll go to the White House and Moscow and update that developing story that just popped in the last couple of minutes. But right now, I want to focus on the economy. Joining us from Bloomberg News, our buddy Mike McKee. Mike, good morning. As always, thanks for your time.
Good morning. I think it's nicer here in Washington today than it is in Atlanta from what I heard on the weather forecast.
Have the cherries blossomed yet?
Not yet. You can see green buds on the trees, but maybe another couple of weeks.
Any day now. All right. Jerome Powell, did he, first of all, if forgive me if he's already commented, but has he commented? Will he comment? And what is he going to say about the interest rates?
Well, his press conference is at 2:30 Atlanta time this afternoon. They're not going to change the interest rate. They're not going to probably change their dot plot that Wall Street thinks tells them how many rate cuts we're going to get this year. And they may adjust their economic forecasts only slightly to lower growth forecasts. But they don't want to get involved at this point because they don't know what the president is actually going to do. The tariffs are scheduled to come on April 2nd, and until we have some idea of what those are, they can't even model what the impact on the economy is going to be. And, of course, Powell, with his history with Donald Trump, doesn't want to get involved in any political fights one way or another.
Well, you and I know Wall Street hates uncertainty. It sounds like the Fed hates uncertainty as well. So we've got the looming tariffs. We've got the inflation still a thing. There's been a talk of the R word, recession, all of those weighing on Jerome Powell's mind right now.
I suspect if anybody asks him about the odds of recession, he'll say, no, the Fed doesn't see that. It's a relatively solid economy at this point, because any acknowledgement that that might happen from the Fed chair would certainly scare the pants off folks on Wall Street, and that's the last thing they want to do. What he'd like to do is wherever the stock market is at 2 o'clock when the decision comes out, by 3 o'clock when he's just about wrapped up his news conference, he'd like it to be a little changed.
Interesting. So where are rates now, Mike, and what was the last drop and when was the last drop we saw from the Fed?
Last jump was in December, quarter percentage point down to they do it in a range now from 4.25% to 4.5%. So they would move it down to 4 to 4.25% if they did move. It doesn't look like we're going to see anything soon. It's possible if they can figure out what happens with the economy by June, that might be a time for another rate cut, particularly if inflation keeps going down. But it's really hard to say at this point, and it's kind of unusual because we could normally sort of project what the Fed is going to do and what the economy is going to do, but everything is up in the air right now.
If you go back to December, even before that, we assumed that the rates would keep dropping as inflation cooled. It was assumed like we're going to see drop. But now in these uncertain economic times, is it possible that the next rate change might not be a drop? It might be an increase?
It is not outside the realm of possibility. I guess the way a statistician would put it is it's not a non-zero probability, or it's a non-zero probability. The Fed doesn't think we're going to see recession, and it would probably take a lot for us to get there. Much of this talk came up because the Atlanta Fed publishes a sort of day-to-day snapshot of where GDP is called GDP Now, and they earlier this month published one that said negative 2.4%, a contraction. They've since revised that up to negative 1.2% as more data comes in, and they'll probably keep revising it higher. There's a technical quirk this time. A lot of people brought gold into the country, and folks are thinking that might have something to do with the Trump policies, and they want to have gold on hand. But that doesn't count it as GDP, although it counts as an import. So you have to do a GDP Now X gold, and they say that puts us in positive territory. I know that's complicated, but it's not a problem at this point.
And people bringing gold into the country. Interesting. All right, Mike McKee from Bloomberg News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. All right, so 2 p.m. today, we're going to find out what the Fed's going to do with their rates, and they're also going to talk about their quarterly economic forecasts. So that's today. When's the next time? Is there already a day on the calendar when we'll hear from Chairman Powell and the Fed? Is that set in stone? Like these are quarterly, so we'll hear from them again, and when?
Roughly every 6 weeks. The next one, they are set in stone. There's a schedule release. May 7th will be the next Fed meeting. In 3 weeks, we'll get the minutes of this last meeting, which people will look at for some clues as to what they were thinking at the time. And then, of course, we'll watch the data as it comes out on a day-to-day basis and listen to the speeches that each of them make.
I don't know if this is outside of your coverage for Bloomberg, but can you check the futures for powdered eggs? Because I've been pushing powdered eggs heavy on the Mark Arum Show, and I think we're seeing a slowdown in demand of regular eggs because I keep pushing these powder eggs.
Unfortunately, powdered eggs I don't think are traded
Not
on
a
the
commodity.
futures markets. So eggs have prices, but and they've come down a little bit, but that problem hasn't been solved yet.
All right, the Duke brothers, if you're listening, there's no powdered egg future to short, but you can still do the frozen orange juice. Mike McKee, Bloomberg, fascinating stuff as always, buddy. Appreciate it.
All righty.
There you go. All right, 2 p.m. We'll let you know. Sabrina will let you know, and then Bill Caiaccio will let you know what Jerome Powell says. But it seems like rates are going to hold steady. All right, breaking news. President Trump currently talking to or just wrapped up a conversation with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, and Russia and Ukraine agreed on a prisoner swap. We'll get the latest from White House and Moscow next on The Mark Arum Show.
Stay connected to Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic with the 95.5 WSB app. Listen to Atlanta's morning news. EVH, Eric Erickson, Mark Arum, and Shelley Winter. No matter where you go, 95.5 WSB and the WSB app. Download it today or find us in the iHeart and Odyssey apps.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. problems. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
There aren't many things more precious than your engagement ring. The start of your love story, a symbol of your commitment that you get to treasure every day. Have you ever thought about breathing new life into that ring? At D. Geller & Sons Spring Bridal event, we're bringing the most exclusive names in engagement and wedding ring design to you with their full assortments. Come to D. Geller & Son for the ultimate ring shopping experience this weekend, March 21st through 23rd in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. RSVP online at dgeller.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust us to bring happiness home. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
We've lowered prices. You can save 15% or more on hundreds of items like Thomas Mini Bagels, Campbell's SpaghettiOs, and more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
After a stormy weekend, you may need My Roofer, FGA Roofing. This is Scott Slade. They can respond within 24 hours to assess any damage to your roof and assist in documenting what your insurance company needs to know. Just search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing.
Beaver Direct certified, providing the highest quality vehicles at the very best prices. Every vehicle undergoes rigorous reconditioning with the industry-leading 12-month, 12,000-mile certified warranty. Visit us at beavertoyotacumming.com and see why everyone loves Beaver Direct.
11:18 on the Mark Arum Show. Monitoring construction delays through Duluth. Live with the latest, Alex Williams.
Yeah, it looks like a paving operation in 3 left lanes, 85 northbound, getting past Sugarloaf Parkway, exit 108. No big need for an alternate. You can always use the access road if you would like. They've also been cleaning up a crash out of Lawrenceville, 316 westbound around Riverside Parkway. Tap of the brakes there. And you're slow on Georgia 400 southbound out of Buckhead into Midtown. That left lane construction on the 400 south ramp to 85 south. Traffic brought to you by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Celebrate spring at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. Relax at their Four Diamond Lodge and Spa, or a charming cottage experience, vibrant blooms and immersive art. Plan your spring getaway at CallawayGardens.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Sorry, Alex. I was a little hot on that audio. Hey, happy 79th birthday, Ruth Pointer of the Pointer Sisters. This is Jump for My Love. Get back to Alex and the traffic woes at the bottom of the hour. Continue to follow some breaking news that just popped a couple of minutes ago. This following the big phone call yesterday between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Apparently, there's a call this morning between President Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Elena Treen at the White House right now. Elena, do we know if this call's still going on?
Yes, as far as we know, it kicked off roughly 30 minutes ago, confirmed by White House Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, who said the president was on the line with Zelensky in the Oval Office. And look, it's very clear.
Whoa. Are you okay, Elena Treen? All right, let's get back to Elena Treen in just a second. Yeah, Elena Treen back at the White House. What can you tell us?
With Zelensky in the Oval Office. And look, it's very clear how close the White House feels like they are to a broader ceasefire agreement. We know that Zelensky, one, wants to use this call to get up to speed with the president from what he discussed with Russian President Vladimir Putin yesterday. But I'd note the timing of all of this. This is actually the first time that we know of that both Trump and Zelensky have spoken since that Oval Office kind of snafu about 19 days ago when the president essentially kicked Zelensky out of the Oval Office. We are clearly in a much different place now. But really, the key question is, how do they get to an agreement on a broader ceasefire deal? We know that according to the White House and the Kremlin, that the U.S. and Russia agreed to a temporary pause on attacks on energy and infrastructure. It's something we know that Zelensky actually said he is open to, but also expressed skepticism that Russia is actually committed to it, given the overnight drone attacks on different energy and infrastructure spots in Ukraine. But look, we also have heard from National Security Advisor Michael Waltz this morning. He said he spoke with his Russian counterpart just moments ago, and that the two teams agreed to meet in Riyadh to kind of continue these peace talks and figure out how they can get to a broader 30-day ceasefire agreement, what we know Zelensky had already agreed to.
All right, Elena Treen at the White House. Again, the breaking news, if you're just joining us, President Trump, President Zelensky on the phone right now, trying to negotiate a ceasefire deal, at least a temporary ceasefire deal. The big call yesterday was between President Trump and President Vladimir Putin. Frederick Pleiken in Moscow, reaction to that important call.
Yeah, one of the things that we're hearing from the Russian side is they say that it was a very good phone call, at least as far as Russia is concerned. It went very well. And if you sort of look, Wolf, at Russian state media, what we've been seeing since that call took place, they're basically praising Vladimir Putin for standing up for Russia's national interests, as many of the commentators here in Russia are putting it. Now, of course, the centerpiece of what actually appears to have been achieved in the short term is that possible cessation of strikes against energy infrastructure. But of course, even there, the wording very different between what the White House believes all this means and then what the Russians seem to believe that all this means. Both sides say it's for 30 days. The White House, however, saying they believe that it's energy and infrastructure that is not to be hit, whereas the Russians are they're saying energy infrastructure, meaning only things like power plants and transformer stations. In any case, both sides are already accusing each other, the Ukrainians and the Russians, of breaching that agreement, saying that the Russians saying that the Ukrainians struck energy infrastructure overnight. Of course, we already heard from Elena there, the Ukrainians saying that the Russians also launched drones towards Ukrainian territory as well.
All right, Frederick Pleiken there in Moscow. A developing story just popped. If you're just joining us, President Trump on the phone right now with the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, and apparently there has been an agreed-to prisoner swap between Ukraine and Russia. 175 prisoners will be swapped. I don't know about you. That seems like good news, right? Prisoner swaps always a good sign, and maybe President Trump cements his legacy right here and gets an end to the Russia-Ukraine war. Obviously, a fast-moving case. We'll continue to monitor that throughout the day. This has nothing to do with Russia and Ukraine. You ever quit a job, Longoria? You ever just said like,
oh yeah, I quit
Wiener
Wiener Schnitzel. I quit Wiener Schnitzel. Yeah.
I've had enough of your hot dogs.
I've had enough.
Apparently, revenge quitting now a new thing for the younger generation. Deborah.
It seems that when Gen Z is ready to quit a job, they do it unconventionally. Revenge quitting is trending among the generation. Now, they often refuse to give a pretty standard 2-week notice. They'll quit right there on the spot, and sometimes deliberately disrupting business. Like they'll do it knowing it's peak hours at a restaurant or in the middle of a busy project like tax season. Some even purposefully hinder tasks like deleting important files or even posting videos of the company making any type of violation. The only downside is your future boss is going to need a job reference from your last boss, and chances are he's not going to give it to you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Like, you're going to do that, and what do you do for your next? I guess the kids just don't care. They're just, YOLO. We'll just, whatever the next job is, we'll do. I hate confrontation so much in relationships and in employment. I've quit jobs before, but never went into a boss's office and quit.
Really, you've never given your 2 weeks like in person?
No.
Really?
So I worked at a bowling alley in college. The Hoe Bowl, Hoe Bowl, Route 9A in Poughkeepsie, New York. I ran that joint. But there was an off season. Like the summer was not a good bowling season. So they cut my salary or my hours down from, I was working full time, like 40 hours a week, to like 5 hours a week. And the manager felt bad. He's like, I'm going to get you another work. The lady who owns the Hoe Bowl, she needs help around her house, like gardening and stuff. Look at me. I'm a gardener, right?
Yeah.
So she owned this mansion right on the Hudson River. And I was like, all right, I need money, so I'll go and, make my $5 an hour here. And they wanted me to like mow the lawns and everything. So I was like, all right, there was a caretaker for Mrs. Ho, whatever her name was. And he's like, all right, let's come to the shed. We'll get you set up. And she had, like a 12-acre lawn. And the guy showed me a push mower, like an old-fashioned, no engine.
Oh, like the old school
antique mower.
Old school ones where you just push.
Yeah. So I did that for one day, and then I never went back. I just quit. Never showed up at the bowling alley again. I was like, yeah. So yeah, I guess I did, but I never had to put the Hoe Bowl on as a reference for another gig. When I applied to WSB Radio, Hoe Bowl was not on my resume. Revenge quitting. Think twice about that, kids. All right, quick break after news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, fantastic news for Butch and Sonny. The wayward astronauts finally back on Earth. Mark Strassman's going to join us from the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Next on The Mark Arum Show.
Protect your turf from termites. Call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda's proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
The following is a paid commercial announcement.
There's a hidden tax costing hardworking Georgians over $5,000 every year. Governor Kemp's tort reform legislation will end this tax and lower costs for families. It will also protect victims. Listen to Governor Kemp.
The bill that I will sign is not going to keep anyone in this state from receiving the justice that they deserve.
Ensuring our justice system is fair and accessible and lowering costs for us. Tell Georgia's lawmakers, stand with Governor Kemp and pass tort reform. Paid for by Protecting American Consumers Together.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus?
Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
Listeners, friends, family, neighbors, heck, even coworkers have asking me about QC Kinetics treatment. Hey, it's Mark Arum. No joke. Coworker the other day asked me about QC Kinetics. They want to know if they should consider it for their joint pain. Well, if you're wondering if you're a good candidate, let's see if you answer yes to any of these questions. First question, is your quality of life impacted by chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints? Next, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain? And most importantly, do you miss doing the things you love because joint pain is holding you back? If you answer yes to any of those questions, I bet you're a great candidate with my friends at QC Kinetics. Call QC Kinetics right now. Ask for your free consultation. Learn how the latest advances in regenerative medicine can get you lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Call 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026. 770-285-8026.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News, weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. It is a record-breaking year for admissions at the University of Georgia in Athens.
The university says it received almost 48,000 applications for the class of 2029, up almost 5,000 from the year before, and a new record. Almost 16,000 students were accepted for the upcoming fall semester, making the acceptance rate 33%. About 80% of those accepted are in-state students, representing 154 of Georgia's 159 counties. Biology tops the list of intended majors for the class. Austin Eller, 95.5 WSB.
Going to be a beautiful day, sunny, breezy, warm, highs around 80 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. The Social Security Administration will require in-office visits to verify identity. The agency's website now saying that to start a benefits claim, an individual's identity must be confirmed in person. Previously, you could have done that over the phone. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency's website says that it plans to shut down at least 47 Social Security field offices in areas with large rural communities. This is the sound from Gaza City. As one United Nations worker has been killed, several others injured when an Israeli airstrike hit the UN guest house in Gaza City. That according to the health ministry, which is run by Hamas. The injured were taken to a hospital in central Gaza for treatment. The person killed is reportedly a foreign national. The strike comes after Israel resumed bombing in Gaza, with talks aimed at another ceasefire agreement stalling out. It's a renewed call for the public's help in finding a driver who hit and killed a pedestrian in Gwinnett County. That was at the height of Hurricane Helene last fall. Gwinnett Police Corporal Juan Marieto saying today this happened about 4 a.m. on the morning of September 27th in the middle of the severe weather.
This young woman, Mika Woodard,
She was walking down the shoulder of 316 eastbound near Breckenridge when she was fatally struck by a motor vehicle.
Police believe that she was hit by a 2019 to 2022 Lexus RX 350 or 450. Anybody with information being asked to contact police. The U.S. Supreme Court hearing from a free speech advocacy group who tells the High Court that a Georgia tax on strip clubs violates the First Amendment.
The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression weighed in on the tax, saying content-based laws are forbidden under the Constitution. The group filed a friend of the court brief and was joined by the First Amendment Lawyers Association. Last month, the Georgia Association of Club Executives asked the Supreme Court to review a state high court ruling that said the tax was content neutral because it's aimed at addressing the negative effects of strip clubs, not the actual dancing. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
The markets are still in the green. The Dow's up 232 at 41,814. The Dow's up more than 0.5%. Nasdaq's up almost a full percent, and the S&P is up more than 0.5%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Picking up a new slow zone right next to the world's busiest airport, Hartsfield-Jackson. This is on I-85 northbound, right around Camp Creek Parkway, exit number 72. We're scanning the jam cam to see what is holding up that ride. Elsewhere, you are seeing the delays on 285 east and northbound, the outer loop into Cab, leaving Flat Shoals trying to get onto I-20 eastbound. That is due to that construction zone on I-20 eastbound, the left lane of the collector distributor ramp block there. And the earlier crash, 316 westbound out of Lawrenceville at Riverside Parkway has cleared. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Warm and breezy today, partly cloudy, high near 80, wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. A cold front will bring morning rain showers for Thursday, then chilly temperatures in the afternoon, highs in the upper 40s, low 50s, waking up Friday morning with temperatures near freezing.
All right, we have 64 degrees in Winder, at 65 in Marietta. Covington, you have 63 degrees right now. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Freedom to splash down. Good main release.
Splashdown, Butch and Sonny have returned home. Still to come, we'll go back to Houston, get the latest with the astronauts' triumphant return, and we're going to talk tech with Kim Commando, and we got tickets to give away next on The Mark Arum Show.
Wet spots or water streaks on your ceiling, drywall, or chimney? Your roof is leaking. Home Fix It host Dave Baker. Get a free roof analysis from my trusted experts, Findlay Roofing. The roof guys. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com. Roof.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer. With experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Got a leaky pipe? Trouble with your AC? Ace Hardware Home Services is right around the corner with trusted pros to fix it. From plumbing to heating and cooling, we'll keep your home running smoothly all year long. Get help today at acehardwarehomeservices.com.
Hey, diamond lovers. Shane Company knows fine jewelry. That means a lot when you're looking for a dream engagement ring, a beautiful keepsake, or the perfect gift. When it's this important, you want someone who knows exactly how to work with your budget, not against it. Someone who knows you deserve a piece more beautiful than you've ever imagined. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've always sourced our diamonds and gemstones directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. Come see us in store and compare our wide selection of diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in different shapes and sizes. So many in stock and ready to take home today. Create your dream engagement ring in 3 easy steps, or pick a perfectly preset ring that's created by our in-house design team. Browse our selection of fine jewelry gifts for everyone in your life, from diamond and gemstone studs to must-have tennis bracelets and beautiful birthstone necklaces. With our everyday competitive prices and unmatched free lifetime warranty, Shane Company is your go-to destination for fine jewelry. Visit shaneco.com and come in to see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Signs of a wet basement, condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, rot. Got them? Then you need to call AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. They'll create a plan to keep your basement dry. Visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection today.
AquaGuard.
11:37 on what's turning out to be a gorgeous day in the A. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Before we talk tech with Kim Komando, let's give back to the listeners, guys. How about a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows, Ameris Bank Amphitheater, July 24th. Vin, I'm going to make it easy. 7th caller. You just got me a chai latte, so I'm going to take it easy on Vinny Bag of Donuts. 7th caller to 404-872-0750. 7th caller to 404-872-0750 wins a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, July 24th, courtesy The Mark Arum Show and WSB. Joining us live, as she does sporadically on a Wednesday, our buddy Kim Komando. Kim, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful day in Phoenix, too.
Oh, it's always beautiful in Phoenix when you're there, my friend.
So nice.
I got nervous. I got nervous when you said to Deborah, our producer, that I need a second phone number on my phone. What exactly are you talking about?
Well, you know those people that you see every once in a while, they carry two phones, and you're like, why are you carrying two phones?
Sure.
Well, you don't need to do that. What you want to do is have a second phone number because, of course, you don't want to give out everybody your primary phone number. Like, let's say you're selling something online or you just met somebody, and they're like, oh, Ken, I have your number, and you're like, ooh, I don't know if that feels good. And so you also maybe want to have a second number so that your boss doesn't have your number all the time. And so with a second phone number, it's kind of a strange thing. It rings directly on your existing phone. And there are different ways that you can do this. You can call your carrier, like for example, Verizon will charge you $10 a month for that second phone number. Or you can use what I use is Google Voice, and it's 100% free. As a matter of fact, I put it on my husband's phone, and then you get to pick your phone number, and he chose area code 202. And I said, why did you choose like 202? Because like we live in California and in Arizona. He's like, oh, this way I can tell people, oh, you have to call my Washington, D.C. office.
Wait, hold on, Kim. You're married?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I got to go. I'm so sorry, Kim.
Oh.
I love this idea, especially, when you're signing up for stuff or you want to, you meet someone and you don't want to get so you get it for free through Google Play, you said? Google Voice?
Oh, no, Google Voice.
Google Voice.
It's free with a Google account. You get a U.S. number, and the calls go straight to voicemail. If you activate like Do Not Disturb, it will transcribe your voicemails and send it directly. You can also have it set up so that, like, for example, if you call my Google Voice number, you have to say who you are before I even pick up the line, so I know who's calling.
So let me ask you a question, Kim. So if I have the second number, can I toggle between it? Like if I'm calling someone, I don't call from my real number. I can call them. It'll show up from this. Oh, that's really good.
No, it's really sweet. I mean, it's really fabulous when you think about it. It's like you have those people in your life, and like you said, when you sign up for things, everybody wants your phone number.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to give it out. So Google Voice is free. Of course, there are apps that you can purchase, like Burner is $10 a month, and then there's also Hush. But I don't think you need to pay for it. I think you just sign up for Google Voice. You get it for free, and you're going to love it. Oh, but speaking of loyalty numbers at the supermarket, this is an insider trick.
Okay.
And so if you're ever sitting there and, of course, if you don't give them the loyalty number, you're going to pay 25, 50% more for everything than what you want. But you don't want them to track everything that you buy. And so what you can do, and I apologize because this is going to be in your head for the rest of the day, Mark, is that you can just put in like area code 404 and then 867-5309.
Okay.
And just about every supermarket in every community, somebody has set up a loyalty number with that area code in. Okay, you can sing it.
867-5309. You know what's funny? I've been like at those supermarket loyalty, and anytime you have to enter a phone number, I didn't want to give out my cell number, so I used to give out my work phone number. But the problem is
that works.
We don't have work phone numbers anymore. So,
Yeah,
it's not even a thing. That's amazing. I want to ask you about this. The best AI prompts to make more money. We're all interested in making more money. What can we do to increase that?
Well, a lot of people are just using AI for personal reasons. Maybe they're trying to figure out what to cook for dinner, or maybe to plan a trip or what have you. But if you're not using it in your business, you're really missing out because your competitors are. And so, like, for example, if you're struggling to write some social media content or you're struggling to write a post or whatever for LinkedIn, is that you can actually use your favorite chatbot and say, give me 5 engaging social media post ideas for fill-in-the-blank industry that encourages high engagement. The other thing that you can do is ask it things like, what are the top 5 trends in my industry for whatever year, and how can I leverage them for my business? If you need a step-by-step guide, you can always ask it that. I have used this one. You can ask it to write a high-converting sales pitch for whatever, targeting whatever, or a high-performing cold email, and what are the strategies. Now, but here's the trick, is that you have to ask really smart questions. You have to be specific, define your goals, and really, if you're struggling with something in your business, just tell it what it is. Like right now, as I speak, I have ChatGPT doing deep research on a new business that I'm starting. And so I gave it the task of going to these 10 different websites and to tell me their sales strategies and their pricing strategies and to compile that in a report. Now, if we wanted to do that 5 years ago or 10 years ago, we would have to hire a consulting
A whole firm, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right? But now, using ChatGPT and the deep research option, and that's the one that you want to do, is that you can tell it exactly what you want it to do, and it will come back in 30 minutes and say, okay, here's your whole report, which we just talked about business. But if you have some type of health issue, or if you have something that may be out of the ordinary, like I have a friend of mine, her son has a Dup15 chromosome, which basically the boy is 9 years old, and he probably has a mental capacity of maybe a 2.5 or a 3-year-old because of this. But I told her, I said, you ought to see what's on deep research for this guy, and maybe there's some anyway. She called me a couple hours later, and she was crying because she found some studies that were being done and some trials that looked really promising, up to and including maybe adding some additional supplements for calcium to his diet. Who would ever think?
Interesting, yeah.
So if you're not using AI this way, God, I'm just challenging you to just try it, and you're going to be amazed.
Such a game changer. You had Deborah and I at the social media post. That's all we use it for. So thank you for that.
And you can tell it to do the emojis and pick the right hashtags.
Yeah.
Everything.
That'll save me so much time. All right, finally, Kim, tell us how the listeners can win a new iPhone 16 Pro, $1,000 value.
Yeah, because I know you're looking at your phone right now and you're
Yes.
thinking, I need a new phone.
I do.
An iPhone, and you can't win, Mark, sorry. Go to winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. Okay, there is a catch. The catch is that you have to try a few issues of my free newsletter that gets published every morning. 5-minute read, keeps you tech ahead. Over 650,000 people get it every morning, and it has a 98% positive rating. So that just should tell you everything. So anyway, so you get a twofer. You get an entry to win a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, and you get Tech Smarts every single morning in your inbox.
Give me the website one more time, Kim.
Winfromkim.com.
Kim Commando, great stuff as always. Thank you so much, my friend.
You betcha, Mark.
There you go. Kim, she's married, Longoria. She's married. I knew that. I was just playing. Really good stuff there, though. AI, get a new burner phone number. Amazing. Hey, congrats to Beverly in Flowery Branch. She won a pair of tickets to see the Counting Crows, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show on WSB. Good news for Butch and Sonny. They're back home. Details next on the Mark Arum Show.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Dave Baker here for Ben Hill Renovations. I know what's important to you when you're looking for a new deck. You want the work done with quality workmanship, on time, within your budget, and built correctly. Getting a new deck from Ben Hill Renovations checks all the boxes. And when it comes to new decks, pretty much anything you can imagine, Ben Hill can do. And they're all backed by the Ben Hill Workmanship Warranty. Swing by the new Ben Hill Renovations showroom in Douglasville and talk to one of their designers. Or see them on the web at bhrenovations.com. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964.
Do you drive a Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi, or other luxury European vehicle? This is Rocco with Rocco's European Garage, and we invite you to our newest location opening on Main Street, halfway between downtown Alpharetta and Milton. Come experience top-notch customer service for auto repair and maintenance at a better value than the dealership. Put us to the test and bring us your dealer estimate so we can show you a better value. So come see us at our 6th location in Alpharetta or online at roccoseuropeangarage.com.
At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business. Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we know that convenience is key. That's why we've made mattress shopping simple and stress-free. Shop in-store or online, whatever works best for you. No high-pressure sales tactics or fake promotions. Our prices are clearly marked, and we openly compare our products to other brands. With our streamlined selection, you won't be overwhelmed by duplicate options, and our 365-day comfort policy provides for peace of mind. Experience the ease of buying factory direct. Visit OMF today for better sleep tonight.
Hope. It's more than a word. It's a breakthrough in the making. At City of Hope, we're pushing the boundaries of science, targeting cancer at the molecular level, with teams of experts working together to personalize a treatment plan right down to your DNA with unprecedented speed, making every second count, with appointments in as little as 24 hours. City of Hope, advancing cancer care at life-saving speed. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
Hey, how's your HVAC system working these days? Is it keeping you warm? Kind of, maybe, not really. Like, oh hey, this must be how the meat and seafood feel at the supermarket. Castile Heating feels you. We want you warm and comfortable. Our same-day HVAC service will slap that chill into next year. And if it's a new installation you need, Castile's flexible payment options, warranties, and rebates will get your comfort situation going from frozen meats to freshly baked in no time. Book today at CastileAir.com.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell, and for over a decade, I've trusted America's best choice for windows, doors, siding, and decks.
Spring is the perfect time to update your home, and America's Best Choice makes it easy with these spring specials. Highest quality, energy-efficient windows starting at just $299. Take 10% off a new deck and create the outdoor oasis of your dreams. No pressure, no gimmicks. Visit abcwin.com today to schedule your free consultation.
Termites eat 24/7, and your home is in their path of destruction. Scott Slade here for Breda Pest Management. You want a complete barrier from Breda, not a bait station. If your current service only inspects the outside, how do you know that the inside of your home is termite-free? Breda is better at beating termites. Only Breda inspects and protects the outside and inside. Plus, your termite rate is locked in for 10 years.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. But don't just take our word for it. Here's Jackie and Veronica, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Just call or click to see how much you can save today. Because when it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit ConsumerCellular.com. That's 1-888-FREEDOM or ConsumerCellular.com today. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
11:51 on the Mark Arum Show. Back to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Believe I just found a new crash in Cobb County. Yep, I see it on the jam cam. 75 southbound, just below North Marietta Parkway. Excuse me, exit 265. Looks like at least right now one right lane, two right lanes are blocked. That'll be a travel advisory. I'd recommend using Highway 41 Cobb Parkway as an alternate. Had an earlier crash by the airport, 85 northbound Camp Creek Parkway, exit 72. That just cleared, so delays improving getting past Hartsfield there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
11:52 on the Mark Arum Show. Around 5:57 p.m., we had splashdown. Butch and Sonny returned safely. Covering the story from CBS News, our buddy Mark Strassman at Johnson Space Center in Houston. Good morning, Mark.
I'm good, man. How you doing? Everything good?
I feel so good for Butch and Sonny. Obviously, you know, their 8-day trip turned into a 9-month sojourn, and then I was nervous about them heading back home, but everything appears to have went well yesterday.
It was picture perfect. I mean, honestly, NASA could not have scripted a better splashdown than the one they got. So Butch and Sonny are now back in Houston. They got here just before midnight last night, and they're spending a couple of days and nights at Johnson Space Center in the crew quarters. Doctors just want to make sure that they're doing okay, adjusting well to gravity, and then they should be sleeping in their own beds at home with their families, finally, by this weekend.
Let's start with their long descent, Mark. It was 17 hours from when they detached from the ISS to splashdown. Why is it such a long journey home?
It's orbital mechanics, which is a phrase I like to say because it makes me sound smarter than I really am. But essentially, the capsule orbits the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour, and meanwhile below it the Earth is rotating, and so they're trying to reach that point of alignment where there is the greatest possible chance for a pinpoint splashdown, and that's what happened yesterday. These flights to and from the space station vary in duration depending on those orbital mechanics. But the bottom line is that NASA has and SpaceX have this down now. I mean, really to the second. And that's just what happened yesterday.
Mark Strassman joining us live in Houston, Texas, here on the Mark Arum Show. So long in space in that weightless environment, near zero gravity. What's the procedures like for Butch and Sonny? What's the protocol? What's their rehab, for lack of a better word, going to be like now that they're back on Earth?
Well, some of it is just there is rehab. You're right, but some of it is just adjusting. I mean, they've spent months in microgravity, and the body just goes through changes. And there's a loss of bone density, which is why most people don't know this, but astronauts will work out a couple of hours a day on the space station just to maintain their conditioning, but also to help with their bone density. And so they have to come back to Earth now and just adjust to life out of 0G and life in 1G. And gravity is something we all take for granted until you don't have it. And remember, these two have been without it for 9 months now. And so I talked to an astronaut yesterday, Mark, and he told me he spent 6 months on the space station. He told me it took him a week to feel 80% and 6 weeks to feel 100% again. So there's a little bit of a rehab process ahead for Butch and Sonny.
Wow. Mark Strassman, CBS News at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. Again, the good news, safe and sound. Edge of my seat yesterday watching them splash back down, but fantastic news. One final birthday of note.
You're attracted to each other at the party. That was obvious. You're on your own for the night. That's also obvious.
That's Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction. She turns 78 years old today. I've never seen Fatal Attraction.
What, really?
No, I have no desire. No desire to see it. I will say, though, Glenn Close, I think, is one of the most underrated actors of our generation. Like, she is known as an amazing actress, but who's the actress, same era, same generation, that wins all the Oscars?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, yeah.
Meryl Streep.
Nothing to take nothing against Meryl Streep, but Glenn Close can hang with Meryl Streep, right? They're on the same level. For whatever reason, though, Meryl Streep gets all the accolades, and Glenn Close, I love her. I think she's fantastic. Anyway, she turned 78 years old today. A day after National Slappy Joe's Day. Glenn Close turned 78.
Longoria's fact of the day.
Yeah, did you eat some yesterday?
No.
Okay, well, nothing food related today. Today is National 3D Day and 3D glasses. The journey of 3D glasses began in 1830s when the inventor of the stereoscope by Charles Wheatstone, which allowed viewing 3D images. And the first 3D film, The Power of Love, was released in 1922.
Is that where they got the name of the song?
The Power of Love?
Yeah.
It could have been,
Who
yeah.
sings that, Deborah? Power of Love is a crazy thing, whatever.
Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis, thank you.
Huey Lewis.
I hate 3D movies, 3D glass. I'm not
Really?
I'm not a fan.
I've taken the girls a couple of them.
Yeah, they give me a headache. Just not I mean, if you enjoy them, go watch Fatal Attraction in 3D. Did that ever come out in 3D?
No, I don't think so.
I want to see Glenn Close in 3D. All right, good fact of the day, Longoria. Not enough to get you started the show. Not enough.
Are you guys ready for the Mark Aram Star of the Show?
I'm getting one. One, I bought you Bananas chicken biscuits today in the lobby. Phenomenal. That's game-changing. But I did something else, and I forgot what it was. But I'm getting a star of the show. Mark Strassman, our buddy from CBS News, joined us live from Houston at the Johnson Space Center. He gets a star of the show. Gerald Posner. If you missed the interview with Gerald Posner, make sure you listen on the podcast. JFK author and expert. Really fascinating stuff about that document dump, the unredacted files released. Amazing. We got to get it back on once he's finished reading those 80,000. I'll give one to Kim Commando. She didn't know about the time change, or she's in Phoenix where they don't time change. I don't know what the deal is. How about Rob, a.k.a. Vanilla Ice? Good stuff with him. He gets a star of the show. Mike McKee from Bloomberg News, Jared Kofsky from ABC, and correspondent Rory O'Neill talking about that important Trump-Putin call. Tomorrow on the show, we've got an amazing actor. Very excited for this. You know him. You see him and everything. Paul Guilfoyle is going to join us live. CSI fame. Fantastic stuff. And, of course, we'll update the Russia-Ukraine talks and all the big local stories. We will have you covered mañana. Social media is active at Mark Arum, M-A-R-K-A-R-U-M. Stay safe. Have a great one.